All right. And we're live.
All right.
All right, that worked out quick.
Yeah, that was the quickest
Yeah, that was awesome.
show start. I know. I just like to show people how efficiently I work and how fast things go when they come over every time.
That's it.
Every time. There's never a hiccup, never a slowdown, never a arrow to the knee. We are always on point over here.
Are you making Skyrim references, really?
There was one.
There was one in there.
Yourself now. Like,
I love it. He snuck it right in so smoothly too.
oh, smooth.
Well,
as
it's
a
like
fucking
sneaking
shark
wheels of
skin.
cheese out of a small tavern somewhere. You know.
I was like, he really snuck that in there. I like that. Okay.
You know. So today on the show, we have the very funny Comic-Con extraordinaire, Navy vet, just amazing comic, stands out from the group here. We have Roderick McDaniel.
What's up? What's up?
What's up?
Man, thanks for that intro. That was like too damn good for me. I'll be honest.
Like, he clearly pumps you up as the best comedian in the room, which is like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
No.
I mean,
Well,
Let
I
me
just
tell you I'm
want
not.
I just want to express my progressiveness for Black Santa Claus. Anyway,
see, this Santa doesn't bring you presents. He pays your rent.
well, he gave me an option. I took the red pill, so here we are. All right. Anyway, also on the show, we have the culinary maestro / Austin's own stand-up comic, a very talented guy, Will Williams.
Oh God, pumping me up culinarily. Oh shit. I have cooked like 1-2 meals online. You're like, oh man, this man knows how to throw down in the kitchen. Like, god damn. I did get to this weight because of my ability to cook, but you know what? I'll take the compliment.
Hey,
There you go. It's a win.
Right?
yeah. So how are you guys doing? How's life?
I am so good right now. I'm literally good.
Good.
It's good. What about you, Will?
I mean, I just moved into a new place. It didn't come with free roaches.
Oh man, you gotta love that.
Oh man, when you don't have automatic roommates when you move into a place, it's like bellissimo. It's peace. When you can walk down and not look down at your feet as you do it. You know what I'm saying? Like walk through the place and not feel a crunch. Like
Yeah.
it's peace.
I'm not even that fortunate, except for I crunch on Legos and stuff. So
Ooh, so you have a different kind of roaches. These are the roaches you made.
yeah, they're just as resilient. I've tried smoking the house out, and throwing the gas bombs. They keep coming back.
Oh, see, what you're supposed to do for those kind of roaches is take them to the fire station.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can leave them at the fire station.
Yeah, they're just real resilient. They get into all the food and they make all the messes. It's true.
I had 7 of those. I understand.
Yeah.
They're all grown now. Oh, it's so good.
I can only imagine.
Oh man, no, bro. I'm telling you, when that last one moves out, it's gonna be like there's this sadness because that noise level leaves, but you're not gonna notice it for the first 7 days.
Nice.
First 7 days, you're just walking around sitting on everything naked. Nobody else is gonna
See, I've learned from people like you guys. How many kids do you have?
I've 7.
How many-
5 girls, 2 boys.
Nigga. Like, how many kids? You have 4, right?
I have 4. Yes.
See, I've learned, like, I love kids. I love animals. I want to be a father. But
Yeah.
I also know I don't want to be a father for too long. So what I figured out that I want to adopt kids, but I'm going to adopt like a 15-year-old. Like I want to adopt a late model kid, you know what I'm saying? Like I want to pick my make and model child.
Got a little mileage on them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that way I can I want a kid that I can talk shit to, and if we have a disagreement, I'm not punching your bitch ass. We're gonna fight. Like you don't wash some dishes, no, you gonna wash some goddamn dishes.
The used ones come with more maintenance, though.
They really do.
And they
Sometimes
do,
cigarette burns too.
But you know what though? Different those kids though, you
True.
can be straight with them.
These are a lot of car references. Keep going.
But I like those kids though, because I feel like those kids you can be straight blunt with. Because like first of all, they've
Yeah.
already dealt with bullshit.
Yeah.
So with those kids, you don't have to baby shit. You don't have to like pretend like I'm your friend. I'm doing this because I want the check and I want
Yeah.
you to not rob me.
I feel like
later.
they'd be more appreciative. 'Cause
Well,
my kids
yeah.
are fucking terrible. Like,
Oh, you know.
Yeah, no, man, my kids thought I was a genius after they moved out.
yeah.
Man, I will never forget she was probably 19 or 20 when my oldest one moved out. And one day she came over to the house and she was sitting there and she was like, Dad, I don't know how you did it, man. This going to work, getting up, and just living check to check. She said, man, this is bullshit. And I remember going to the refrigerator, grabbing 2 beers out, opening it, and I handed her one and I said, let's talk now. You finally understood.
Was that her awake? Was that like her woke moment? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
she
I
finally
get
just
it.
came to the realization of what I had been doing.
Like,
that
you're
whole
ready
time.
now to break boards. You'll now learn.
Let's drink beers and talk to me, vent.
Yeah.
And then we've been like that ever since.
She got kids too?
No, she's gonna get 2 step I'm gonna get 2 stepsons, but I still call them my grandsons because here's my thing. I told them, like with my kids, we Brady Bunched it, but I don't call any of them my stepkids.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I told them, steps are for walking on. You're all my kids. And so I've always called them my sons
That's
and my
good.
daughters. And so nobody knows who are the stepkids. That's the beauty of my family.
Oh, that's nice.
When people meet my kids, they're like, which one is the stepkids? I said,
I fucking love
there are
That
none.
is-
You
That
remind me
is-
of my dad.
That
He's
is,
like that.
that is dadding done right, folks. That's
Yeah.
a beautiful thing, I think.
There are no stepkids. There,
That's awesome.
but I can tell you this. One of the ones that I did not make looks way too much like me.
Ooh,
Way
that's
too
just
much.
called. That's just called. That's just called like fucking nurturing right there. He just
Yeah.
was around you enough, and he said, "You get the beard and the head."
Oh no, it's a she. That's who I feel so
Ooh,
bad.
she got the beard?
She
Fuck.
looks like me, and I just feel so bad for her when I look at her. I was just like, you look way too much. Like she's got the same glasses. We got the same laugh. We even have the same gap in our teeth.
Ooh, so you punched her in the mouth?
I should have. Said, this is mine. I want this one.
Copy me. Jesus Christ.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It really is. It really is.
Dad, you two, man. How do y'all not? How y'all? Well, I see why you're great, but how you not more great? I mean, I see. Instead of gray, you have a belly, and there's alcohol in your hand. So like, but how are you
There's
not?
a little gray coming in up here. Look.
It's coming.
Four
I've
kids,
got
man.
kind of two-tone hair. It's like
Okay.
when I was like real little, it was like white blonde, and as I got older, it got dark. And summer, winter, like it looked kind of gray sometimes. And it'll,
Okay.
Yeah, go through colors.
No, this is 5 girls. That's why
Yeah.
all of this is great. That's like dealing with terrorists
Oh,
all the
5
time.
niggas coming to the house every year? Shit.
Bro, here's the thing though. I laid the law down when they were 8. I'm gonna tell y'all this story. So
Any
when
of
they,
them
were,
gay?
when they were 8, I told all my girls as soon as they turned 8, hey, here are the rules. You start noticing boys. One day boys are gonna notice you. Here's how it goes. He has to come up to the door and knock. If he doesn't come up to the door and knock and he honks the horn from outside, I'm going on the date with him. I'm going to the car. And he's
Yes,
got to deal with me
sir.
for the night.
Yes,
and
sir.
So they knew, like the girls had this whole time, I'm always teaching them these things. So by the time they started bringing boys over, like, hey, look, I'll totally go out with you. You got to come meet my parents. What? Yeah, you're going to have to meet my dad. You're going to have to meet my mom.
That's the rules.
You're
Yeah.
going to have to, you can't honk and think I'm coming outside. You're going to have to come in to get me. He's going to see what you were wearing. He's going to see the car. My dad's going to talk to you. You got to be able to hold a conversation. There'll be some yes sirs, some no ma'ams. Like they were vetting the guys they were dating before they got to me. Because I had, here's how it's going to go down. And if it doesn't go down, you're going to be very embarrassed that Monday.
And you know
when
what,
he
the
tells
whole
you,
thing isn't even that hard. Like going to meet the dad, shake his hand. If you're not trying to be an asshole, that's not even hard. That's basic.
it shouldn't
At-
be, but most
at this-
people don't do it.
I'm starting to wish that you were my dad. You sound like you're a fucking awesome dad.
I didn't think I was at the time. They tell me I was now as adults. They tell me I
Yeah.
was, but when we were going through, I was laying down. Like I didn't want to treat my girls like princesses. That's I
Yeah.
think where we messed up.
Princesses get hurt and get
They
get
do.
trapped in
Yeah.
showers.
So I was teaching them how to be killers, and then it was like, okay, check this out.
Yeah.
Here's the lie he's going to tell you because I told 4 girls this lie. So I was giving them, don't date me. Basically, it was the don't date your
Right.
dad boot camp.
I'm surprised you didn't give him that pimp book. You know that book that came out about that pimp book that Dave Chappelle. I'm surprised you didn't give him that. Like, hey, baby, I need you to read this so you don't know how to be a trick.
Yeah, I want you
Don't
to
be a trick.
understand some things. But I kept breaking them down to this. And even with my boys, I was the same way. Like, do this, don't do this, And my biggest rule with them was I had a rule for the guys is because I knew I looked at them and they were really good looking. They took after their moms. And so I kept saying, hey, you're going to sleep with a lot of women. I can tell you right now, you're probably going to sleep with a lot of women. Whatever you do with her, don't tell any of your buddies about it. What do you mean? Don't tell anything you did with her to your buddies. If she was good enough to lay with, she's good enough to stay quiet about. And that was the rule. Don't be running out in the streets and telling what you did with so-and-so. Don't ruin her name like that. Don't put her out there like that. You wouldn't want somebody to do that to your sisters. You wouldn't want somebody to do that to your mom
Facts.
or aunts. Don't do that to somebody's daughter. So it was still always real, but man, my wife used to get mad. You're telling them too much, and she
People-
kind of
man, you
it was
people
so
been on
real.
game,
Like,
shit.
sometimes I was way too real with them, and I was like, my kids are gonna be traumatized.
Yeah.
They're gonna be traumatized, but I kept it real at all times. It was real.
You're not gonna have a stripper daughter. You're not gonna have a fuckboy son. You're gonna have kids that actually know how to be in a relationship and not be that person.
One time my daughter did, one of them, and I'm not going to say the name, but one of them came to me one time. And she's like, I'm thinking about selling nudes. And I was like, well, get the money first. Make sure you got a PayPal. I was trying to break it. And she was like,
Baby, you got that OnlyFans name right?
This was before there was an OnlyFans. And she was like, this is not the conversation I expected from you. I said, well, I didn't expect a daughter to come to me and say,
Yeah,
I
she
think I'm
just
gonna
wanted you to
sell
open
Hey,
your
the
wallet.
rich do, baby. The rent is.
She's like, talk me out of it, Dad. Give me some money.
I would say, make sure you're going PayPal. Then
That's
you gotta have money
hilarious.
first. And so she was like, did you just business analyze my whole news
That's-
business?
Like,
That's
baby,
so
keep the
funny.
camera below the neck. You have a day job, right? Keep it below the neck.
I was just trying to give her like, here, peep game. Here's how I would do this. And she was like, so I've never sugarcoat. That's how you end up with a comedian for a dad. He just
Yeah.
doesn't sugarcoat, and you can't say anything that's gonna shock me. My
I'm
kids
surprised you
know
weren't
that
like, hey, honey, if you really want to make that money, focus on your feet. That's where the money's at.
It was just such
You
a
keep,
weird
it, you,
flex.
keep it, you keep your day job and
Yeah.
your feet is where they will look at, and you can make all the money you need and still have whatever job you want. You want to work in the government, work for the president? Shit, you can. But you can still have them feet OnlyFans at the same time. He'll
don't
never
get
know. Hell,
feet.
he'll subscribe.
I don't get feet, but man, it's like a hot thing.
It ain't
Dudes
for
are-
us.
Yeah, I'm not a foot guy. I cannot do feet.
And if a girl got pretty feet, that I can okay, her feet look nice. That means the rest of her is taken care of. But if she got ugly
I can
feet,
I can
that's like a
appreciate
sign.
if somebody has pretty feet, like cute feet, nice little toes and stuff.
Yeah,
Toenails
not
are
just the pedicures
even.
and stuff.
Yeah, but as far as fetishize, I don't get the feet thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like do want to do like want to go like wants to smell her feet, like get a good.
Stop
In
on my
there.
balls.
It's like,
Yeah.
hey man, I
No.
can understand if you like if your girl got a good petty and you like, hey man, I want to see my work done. Oh shit, she got the plum. Oh shit, if you like
Yeah.
appreciates her looking good, and that's just like a good starter point. Like, all right, her feet look right, her hands look right, the pussy's all well waxed and groomed. It's got a little question mark in there. Like, she's like, hey, who's getting in here tonight?
Yeah.
That's what it's nice and groomed. But when it's some girls, it's like got the plum and red, which is fine. But when the shit's chipped, and you just don't know when the last time she decided to,
Yeah.
check up on herself.
I mean, my feet are terrible. I have
Bro, my
nasty.
feet look
We work, man.
Yeah.
I got Flintstone feet. It looks like
Yeah.
I start a car running. I know I do. They're
Yeah.
ugly.
Yeah, mine look like Harriet Tubman tried to help me get me out.
Oh God.
That's from a lot of ruck marching and
You ain't got no
Kicking heavy
shoes, but
bags.
keep running.
Oh man, dude, military
Yeah.
feet get jacked up so bad.
oh yeah.
How do y'all feel about being in the military? I didn't get to join because when I was graduating high school, I was about 350 pounds, and I had flat feet, so that was not an option. But for you guys, like, how was that experience? I know a lot of military guys who, for the most part, they loved it. Some of them came out jacked as shit. But for you guys, longer in the tooth, and now you got kids. And was it worth it for you now that you're looking at it?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I 100%. If
Yes.
listen, man, if you don't have any prospects, if you think you're like in a situation like I'm just gonna end up dead or in jail type shit,
Well, damn.
it's not going nowhere. I 100% support doing the military. But what I tell people is you don't have to make a career of it. Get your benefits, do your time, get some discipline, some more professionalism. Depends on where you're at, who you're around. But yeah, get your discipline down, get your benefits and all that, learn some shit, do some cool stuff, travel the world a little bit, get a little bit more cultured.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time in Korea, loved it.
Which one?
South.
South.
You only go south.
You gotta ask that question. 'Cause, well, I mean, people can go north. I mean, fucking Henry Rollins, a musician, went north.
Yeah, we don't get to go north.
We don't.
Yeah, U.S. military guys are not going north. We end up in their prison.
No, because all that North Korea is a buffer zone for China. That's why we haven't ran over it yet.
Well, damn.
But yeah,
Oh, now hold on. I kind of want shit. Well, you want to talk about that? China,
no, because
Korea.
like Korea, I mean that's the thing.
Yeah, North Korea is very.
Does it scare you that there won't be a South Korea in probably 20 years? Like, I think about that just with the current president and I mean, and with the way the world has kind of shifted politically, with China taking more power, the leader of Russia taking more power, and then all these other smaller dictators kind of just inching their way towards dictatorships more firmly. Do you really feel like certain countries are even going to exist in 20 years?
You mean like imperialism?
I mean, the natural state of things. There's
I
always
mean,
one guy who
that's-
thinks he's smart enough to run everything. So
I'm
yeah.
just saying. I mean, a lot of the things that we do and we shun that are bad things, we've done a lot of. So
Well,
just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
But I'm pro America. Go America. Hey, but
I'm pro-human.
But I will
man.
tell you, I'm pro humanity, pro the globe, the world. I think of everything in like a bigger,
Like America won't.
thing like
I hate
that.
to say it, but America won't be America in 500 years. The name won't exist. The people won't exist.
Well,
like,
hopefully we'll have
yeah.
been smacked by an asteroid or something by then because we are fucking terrible.
I mean, hope not an
Like,
asteroid.
human life.
I mean, wouldn't that be sad if an asteroid destroyed us? When,
Hey,
like, we have
if
all this
my-
time ahead to know
If my
what's coming?
kids and grandkids have a good run, I mean, after that, like I'm a little detached from the great grandkids
Yeah.
and stuff. I don't know those guys.
I'm not even going to be.
I don't even know who they are.
You might though. You might
Fuck
live.
'em.
Wait, with all them steroids and all those all those fucking stem cells and shit, you might live to be 200 and comfortable and jacked. You might.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of intrigued by that stuff, by like, the life extension, given the medical stuff and all that.
Yeah.
But I think that death is a natural cycle of life because you get so much done in the time that you have, and you experience so many things and see so many things, and people around you fade away and relationships change and stuff. Because think about it. If you lived 1,000 years, right? During that, I promise you, during that 1,000 years, you would eventually fall out with every friend you have and every relationship. It would just constantly change because you would get bored, and the stuff around you would change, and just you would change.
I mean, yeah, but why not become a new person every time?
Well, that's why you die. Run with me here. Run with me here.
You hit it.
Hey, my theory, as we touched on this briefly, we were talking about psychedelics and stuff. My theory about existence and life itself is that we are essentially light and energy behind everything else, our consciousness and all that. Like that voice in the back of your head, right? Like behind your ego, there's something there behind your ego. You realize that, right? Because we're walking around we're like an NPC, like we're walking around just acting, on course of whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
But all of this stuff that we're attached to isn't exactly all that we are.
The meat, the bone,
Yeah,
the brain. Even the brain.
Yeah,
is
even the
really
brain.
us.
That like there's more to it. So when you die, I'm not saying you go to heaven or hell or anything like that, but what I'm saying is that same energy travels, and we go back to the same light spectrum or whatever it is beyond where we are, and we, maybe you turn into 1,000,000 trees, or you fucking are born again or something. It could be anything, But yeah, I don't think it just ends at this. I think there's more to it.
I wouldn't want to live that long.
But we just don't and that's the thing. Like you completely, this identity here, you leave this here. So make the most out of it while you are here, and be the best person you can be, and try to permeate positivity and everything that you can do. But don't get too attached to it.
I mean,
that's my theory.
I agree with that. I mean, I
there's something calming in that, I think.
Oh yeah, it is.
I mean, I could personally understand. I could deal with living forever. I could deal with that context in the sense of like, I personally am okay with the idea of changing as a person and letting this version of me die and become something new. Because if I got 1,000,000 years to live, every 100 years, I don't mind if I'm gonna be a goth kid for the next 100 years. I'm gonna be a
you realize it's essentially what I just said, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, if it's continuous life cycle where you remember day one, even if your memory runs out and you have to lose some shit on the way, like they showed in that. Remember that show with Adam Savage, the guy from MythBusters, where like one of the shows he did where they described the idea of living forever and how like one of the flaws is that if your brain is eventually going to run out of RAM and forget shit, which is fine. If you figure out a way to back that data up, I'm okay person with the idea of every few hundred years or so having to dump some data involving, like, I lost some kids. I had 100 kids.
Think about all the traumatic stuff you've been through, though. Would you really want to carry that around with you for a million years?
Yes, because they're part of who you were. And that's a part, we all have trauma. You can't, if you live off your trauma, you're not going to go anywhere. If you accept that was part of the ride, keep riding.
I just think that after a certain point, I don't want too much more. Like, I'm 49 now, and I've had enough in this 49 years where it's like, I wouldn't want to do this for another 100.
Then you're 20 years ahead of me, and you're already like, fuck it.
No, bro.
No, he was like, aside from the body stuff, like the body starts going downhill, but, just mentally everything. You get to experience all these great things and bad things, but just cherish that stuff, embrace it, and make that part of your energy and how you function and how you deal with people. Like, try to just do better than what you went through or what, others have done to you or whatever else. And that's how I look at things, dude. Like, that's because when I was a kid, I was hella afraid of death. Like, I was like obsessed with it for a while, like around fourth grade or something. I would not let it go. Like, I would get up crying at night and stuff. Like, it just would not fucking go away. And eventually, like I said, I didn't really fully deal with that until like last few years. I kind of like got this different perception of it. I was like, wait, this is a good thing. It's not bad. It's not bad. You just get everything you can out of this journey. You like Eric, I drop Eric wherever the fuck Eric's at, and I keep moving. I
had a PLE, is what I call them, those pro-life experiences in the military. So I was in the Philippines when Mount Pinatubo erupted. I was off the coast of India when the cyclone hit. I did relief missions in Rwanda. I was on the Tripoli when it hit a mine. So I kept having all these near-death experiences that made me pro-life experiences, is what I started calling them. And so after a while, I just got to the point where it was like, I just talked to somebody about this recently, and it was that I didn't think when I was younger that I was going to live past 21. So I didn't have a plan for life past 21.
What made you think that you weren't going to live past 21?
I lived in the north part of Louisiana, and I probably started drinking when I was 13, and I had lost so many friends before I was my junior year going into high school. I had so many friends die in accidents, I didn't think I was going to make it past 21. Like I was surrounded by people that were dying at 17, 16.
Was the military like a saving grace for you?
Yeah. What was so weird about going to the military was I told my friends, I don't want to live and die in the same town. I don't want to do this. I got to get out of this town. And so I joined the military to get out of that town. And then when I got into it and I was overseas and I started seeing all these different cultures and different people and realizing, I didn't have it that bad. Like there were people who had way worse situations that came to the military to escape those situations. I was just like, I just don't want to go to college, and I kind of want to goof off for a little while longer, and I want to travel and get this wanderlust out of my system so I can focus on a book. And so it was a different kind of it was a different thing for me. But once I was in the military, and then I kept ending up in all these hazardous situations. If anything, it made me think, okay, you really aren't going to live past 21. But it was also what he said. I had this experience where it's like, I started, hey, even if I'm going to die by 21, 22, I am going to have all these great experiences. So when I'm on my deathbed, I am going to be smiling the whole time. And that was what I was kind of after, was this, I'm trying to build up these experiences and meet these people. And I decided early on, like I was probably suffering from depression, but I was like, everybody I meet, I wanted them to think when I died, today my best friend died. So I was like, I'm putting positivity out, trying to help as many people as I can, like leaving a legacy. So I was probably 21, 22 when I started thinking about legacy living. And this where hey, I'm going to die, but there's going to be this legacy of all the great things I did for people before I left. And so it formed early out of just this weird mind state that I wasn't going to live long. And then it just kind of, here I am 49, still alive, and I'm going, well, I wasn't expecting to be here this long. But I'm still doing it.
I completely understand what you're talking about.
It's a weird thing. It happens to you, man.
The legacy living thing.
Yeah.
The way I always explain it, I always tell people, try to, like I said, live positively and think of it like this, because even a drop of water, like of rain, in the middle of the ocean still makes waves.
Yes.
And it permeates that around you, and it has effect on everything around you, further than what you think is your realm of influence. Holding a door for somebody, seeing somebody, they're maybe bummed out or having a bad day, just saying if they're okay. Just talk to them.
It changes people, man.
Throwing compliments, all
within
of that
reason,
goes,
obviously. They'll be like, "Hey, girl, fat ass."
Yeah. Don't do that. Don't be
Fat
that.
ass move.
I
You
mean,
will leave a legacy, but not the one you want to leave.
I mean, that might
Leaving
work.
around count
That might
legacies.
work around here in Killeen, but
Oh, you savages.
Yeah, he's not
shout
wrong.
out to the good people of Killeen.
Yeah.
Love you guys. You guys have been great supporters of me over the past year. But yeah, that's my thing. Exactly what you're talking about is really how I try to live.
That legacy living will change you, man. It'll change how you focus, because I wasn't so much focused on me anymore. I kind of focused outward toward other people, like what can I do for them? But the thing is, every time you're doing something for somebody else, you don't really think about, you really have invested in yourself. I've never given of myself to help someone else and not been compensated or blessed down the road somewhere.
Yeah,
in ways I didn't expect.
Kind of the joke, when you don't look for getting something out of it, you do get something out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
There is, to an extent, depending on your perspective on it. There are times where it's a bit of a pitfall because, wanting to help people so much and do so much, on my own responsibility. There's been times like, you know what, I really ain't got it, but you need it really bad, so I'm gonna help you out.
Yeah.
There's been times like that, or there's been times where people just like think that you're too nice or a pushover just because you help people out, and so then it makes you retract some, like a dick in cold water. You just reel it back in. It's like
I experienced that shit.
went swimming in a lot of lakes in Maine. Anyway, rivers.
I know it too.
Yep.
It's just like, I understand that.
Yep. Yeah. It's an analogy everybody can get. Hey, no gender dysphoria over here. Anyway, everybody can get it. See, 2020. Everybody can get okay, you get it. Anyway.
Just looking for a warm hole, huh?
Pretty much. And it turns out the warm hole is my heart.
There he goes. Oh, well played. Well played.
And that's where the real satisfaction is.
Well played.
Is putting smiles on other people's faces. And you have to, as I am such a giving person like that, you have to learn to balance. You have to learn to take care of yourself a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And that was a tough lesson for me to learn because when I was younger, like I said, I was very much, I got to fix everything. And that all came from being around a lot of domestic violence and stuff like that as a kid, drug abuse, crazy shit that I shouldn't have been around a lot in my family home. But a lot of that created this kind of like savior complex where it's like, hey, mom got beat the fuck up. I got to take care of her. Or, fucking my sister's smoking meth. I got to take care of her or something. You know what I'm saying? I'm helping raise my sister's kids now, by the way. They're here. They stay with my mom. But anyway, yeah, like, so that mentality, it's good in a way, but at the same time, like, it put me in bad positions because people that had bad intentions, like bad relationships, the female would be like abusive either emotionally or physically or both or whatever, and I would stay like, oh, I can take care of this person or love this person enough and they'll stop being a piece of shit. Turns out no. You just get shit all over you. Like,
you're gonna be a piece of shit no matter what you do.
yeah, that's now I'm a single dad anyway. Yeah, that's
But it can happen. But yeah, that's the key. It can happen. But I still, even with that, I still think that a lot of times, even if you look at it, let's say it had pulled 10 years. If you look over that 10 years, you'll probably go, yeah, I got shit on a few times. And some of those times were really, really rough to get through.
Yeah.
But the things that came out of it, man, the people that came into your life because of those shitty situations that ended up, like, I didn't even expect this person to be there for me. Came because of this shitty situation. It far outweighed itself. But you can get caught.
Because flowers grow out of shit.
Oh, they do. All the time.
They do.
And the best mushrooms.
I'm just dropping.
The best mushrooms.
I'm dropping analogies tonight, baby. We're on a roll.
The best mushrooms are flowers.
Speaking of on a roll, I'm drinking some of this White Claw pineapple. It's pretty good.
Bro, I was looking at that.
My drink. Can I refill?
It's pretty decent. I got the black cherry ones. I really like the black cherry ones. They're my favorite.
I've never tried them.
I love them. They are. There's no carbs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like seltzer water. They're really good.
Oh.
It's like a beer, 5%. Yes, absolutely. Please get some more whiskey if you'd like some.
America, fuck yeah.
He's getting it.
Will's gonna get trashed. I'm gonna have to roll out a fucking futon for him. It'll be okay.
Will is doing it.
We take care of people here on the show. But yeah, I am still trying to get some sponsors. I did talk to my good buddy Bryce. He's one of my old military buddies. Before I was doing the comedy thing and like some skits and stuff, but like he approached me back in May. He's like, hey, I really like what you're doing and I want to find a way to invest. I want you to build a film studio around you eventually.
Oh, nice.
So somebody came to me like that. I'm like, oh fuck. So I've had all this energy since then. That's how I started dropping the pod. I was running the Popcorn Trick podcast. And then I started doing this one, like the cameras and all this shit. Like everything's just been like just far. As soon as somebody came to me with that kind of energy, I was like, well, let's fucking work. And it's been crazy, dude.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you that's the beauty of. I'm really weird about this, man. My brother and I I should have recorded it, but he's a musician. He plays in a jazz group called The Blacklist. They're big in Austin. He's played with Dr. James Polk at the Elephant Room downtown. He was still with him for a number of years. And so he and I were talking about how you build your brand, because he's putting his jazz group, I'm doing it with comedy. But what shocked me was the podcast. When we started Team Lift, it started because one of my coworkers, Brandon Bowie, came to me one day and we were working at EA and he said, let's do a podcast. And I was like, what's it going to be about? And he said, I don't know. And I was like, what are we going to do? He said, just come over to the house. You want to do it? I'm like, yeah, okay. So I showed up to the house, had a setup. We put on headphones. He mic'd us up, and we recorded the conversation. And then we just put it out there. And it was just kind of like, we don't know what we're doing. There's no music. We don't. And there would be these weird talks where we were talking about video game news and anime and movies, and we'd break down stories we were seeing and how we felt about it. But when other people started coming in, and like Reed joined us and he brought the camera aspect, and then we had a YouTube channel, and then we started going to the anime conventions. It's such a weird energy happens when other people come in and they're like, hey, I like this. Let's do this. Your energy changes in such a way that you're like, bro, where did I get this jolt of energy?
Is it like a change of like? Do you feel like you're changing what you're doing, or you just feel like you feel more motivated to do it?
I think it's a heavy motivation.
I've explained it as just momentum, dude. Like,
yeah.
Like I said, like I started with just doing the popcorn trick, and I was still doing mics. I'm still doing mics all through this.
Yeah.
All my normal responsibilities here and all that. So I made like an actual intro. I made a ad for Anchor since I was using them for a distributor.
Yeah.
How's it working out? 'Cause I'm trying to look that up. I'm not sure about it. It's like for like Spotify and shit.
It puts it on everything. It puts it on Spotify and everywhere else.
Like it just gives you an RSS feed and everything.
Yep.
Or
You just go through and assign everything, and it's gone.
It was much easier than what we did. I can say that right now. So we did it the old-fashioned way, where we went in and created an Apple account, and then we had to go find like Podbean and do our own RSS feeds and get the codes and send it here and point stuff.
Well, yeah, like it's the same thing, but you just go on your profile, like on wherever you have it at.
Yeah.
You just like drop the RSS feeds in there, and like that feeds them.
Yeah. It put
so
it
instead of like
everywhere
putting
for
a
us.
video on YouTube, you would just drop the RSS feed link, and it would just go from there.
Yeah, same idea.
Yeah, it fed it to everything.
Yeah.
So we ended up on Apple, we ended up on Google Play, Spotify, and it puts it out there. It did the legwork instead of me having to go to each person and do it.
Even Pornhub.
Yeah.
I wish.
The way
That's who I want to pick.
And the way I'm doing this one right now, I might eventually do like some audio mix downs, but this one's just straight. You know, I take it, I put it on a Premiere, I mix it all down as a video once it's all synced up, and then what I do is I put it on YouTube, but I make it where you can't look it up, so then I can make the link exclusive to my website. So I use their player. That's all I do. And I embed it. And then after a week goes by for each release, after the week goes off, then I release it publicly. So you can only watch it on the website. So you have to go to the website to see it and to hear it, you know, what's going on. Then after that week goes by, boom, public.
How can you do it that route instead of making it fully open to the public?
I do it that way to up traffic to the website so that eventually I can start dropping ads and stuff and create revenue through that.
Build the brand.
So you're trying to
build your brand.
You're trying to work around the
gets
whole
it.
monetization through YouTube, where like they can kind of fuck your shit up.
YouTube monetization has slowly become more trash, from what I understand.
It is.
Really?
Yeah, you need like 1,000 plays per video before you start seeing any or something like that.
1,000 plays per video, and then at sometimes per month. It's like weird
and your
numbers.
Subscribers have to get to. You have to have at least 1,000 subscribers, I think, to even be monetized.
So it's almost like better. It is completely better to monetize throughout your own stuff, like through your own website, and then make your own products out there, like shirts and shit.
Well, what I want to do is personally, I'm trying to link up with local businesses, or you know, if somebody's got a product to sell, and I'll plug it for them, right? And the way that that's going to work is whatever they pay me for plugging it will go directly into me using it for my ads. So what I'll do is the sponsorship money is going to go straight to ads. So then the ads create more clicks, and that goes directly back to their product, getting more views. So that's So I'm going to make it cyclical. So I'm actually helping them, and they're helping me because one, I'm getting more plays, and two, they're getting more views.
Isn't that weird? Like we're all in our third. Like I'm 29, so probably the youngest person here, but we're all late 20s, early to mid 40, you know, like late 40s, and it's like the internet happened in front of us. But like it's not like out of nowhere. In the last decade, it became like the whole business of it just changed. Where now you have to go through all these avenues for money to be made. When before the early days of YouTube, when they started saying you can make money off of it, it was simple. Just put it up there. People like it, they'll give you money. Versus now, it's like you said fuck too many times, or you talked about Corona for a few seconds.
Search engine optimization is a business.
You say kill superheroes? No. Say unalive superheroes, sir.
The thing I maintain about the stuff that I do is it's all unedited. So you say whatever the fuck you want, whatever your beliefs are, we'll talk about them. Like Junebug was on. I love Junebug. He's a very
Junebug.
He's a very close friend of mine. Love him to death. But when he was on the show, he was talking about people having different beliefs and saying what they believe in and all this stuff. He's like, well, if you choose to be gay, and I'm like, whoa. So being gay is a choice, Junebug? I'm saying, like, I don't agree with it, you know, but I don't have a problem with you, you know. But I'm like,
that's such a weird.
That sounded just like June. What are you gonna say about this?
It's such a weird thing, like the whole argument of
I'm good. I'm good. Like, I mean, if you want to have like anal relations, I mean, like, I'm good, bro. Like, you know.
That's my boy, dog. I love me some Junebug.
That's such a weird thing when they say like, oh, being gay is not a choice. Being like, I mean. The feeling, no, that is not a choice. But the action is a choice.
Here's how I put it. Like, I was like, dude, like, being straight isn't a choice, right? You're straight, right?
No, it's
Like,
not.
think
It is
about
a choice.
this.
You're choosing to not fuck dudes.
I kind of don't wanna.
You can easily fuck dudes. Any of us can easily go fuck a man. We're sluts. We know what we are.
Wait. What I was trying to get to before I was so rudely fucking the ass with suggestions. Jesus. At least spit on it or something. Anyway.
Dry, baby, dry.
Hey, I was like, hey, you know what you're attracted to by a very young age. I was like in kindergarten or whatever, and I knew like I was attracted to some girl. Like, okay, I have a crush on this girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some boy feels that same way about boys. It's just how they are. It's just chemically balanced, whatever. And I'll say this too. Like, you're talking about Freddie Mercury, Elton John, like all these great creators. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a place for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And you have to. You can't like. I don't know, dude. You can't like art and movies and music and, you know, people in general. Like, even if they don't create things, they could just be a regular person that dresses well. But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like, if you have any humanity whatsoever, you can't just hate people because they don't want to fuck the same thing you want to fuck. I love Dave Chappelle. I think he's the goat of comedy. I do.
Yeah.
But I don't want to fuck feet. He likes fucking feet.
No,
We talked about the feet earlier.
I look at feet and they do nothing for me. I can go see feet right now in a Walmart in flip flops. I can go in Walmart and some girl's gonna have her feet out on display. That does not turn me on. You know what I can't see in Walmart? Booty holes. That's my shit.
That's the weird thing about
booty
it. Like,
holes.
yeah, just because like you may like
winking
one thing,
brown
but
eye.
a choice is a
That's
choice. Like what you choose to actively do. Like, no, I don't like feet. But if I'm with a bitch who's like, she's really hot and like, I want to get down, but she's like, hey, but first, you gotta fuck these feet.
Nah, can't help it.
If she's like, no,
I can't.
if
Dude, I've
fucking Sofia Vergara walks up to you.
If it's,
lost out on a lot of stuff
that-
because I can't do certain shit.
is that her fetish? She wants you to fuck her
Look,
feet?
I've met some girls who are into some strange shit that you're like, wait, like I've known girls who are into choking. I don't like choking girls, but I've known girls who are like, hey, choke me or this can't work out. And I'm like, I don't want to commit a felony to have sex with you.
I can do like I'm not gonna violently choke somebody. I'll do like a little mild choke, like a little throat holding. I've done that.
I'm a black man in Texas. I can't choke nobody. I choke my chicken. That's gonna be about it.
I choke my hey man.
And PETA's looking at that very literally, and somebody's head just exploded right now.
Yeah, they're like, we're going after him next week.
Yeah.
Please, I need the advertisement.
I haven't met a girl that doesn't like being choking. I don't think they exist anymore. I'm wondering if they just stopped being a thing. Women who just like having regular ass sex.
My best story like that, without going too deep, is like I was banging this chick that it was like a one night stand. I can't believe I'm gonna say this, but anyway, she's like, yeah, shove it at my ass, pretty much. And she's like, you better fuck me hard. So I'm just like smashing this chick in her ass.
Wait, was her name Alexis?
It was just so random.
I feel like I knew her.
It was so random. And it was the first time, you know, I took the back way there, but you know, the back road. But it was just so. It's like, to me, that story is still like fucking hilarious to me. Just like thinking back to that moment, you know.
Yeah, I don't think and I grew. See, I'm 49, so I grew up in a time like I was trying to lose my virginity when AIDS was coming out. Do you know how hard that is? Like, AIDS is out there, and nobody knew how it started.
Like
when AIDS first came out, people were so ignorant about it. You know, did somebody fuck a monkey? You know, we really thought that, man, and that was the kind of bad information. Well, is it just gays? Oh no, now straight people got it. So now I'm trying to lose my virginity, and straight people don't know how to get AIDS.
It gives girls an excuse not to give head for a hot minute too. He's like, you know what? I don't know if you got AIDS. I just don't want to suck dick. But you someone eat this pussy. Like, I mean, you know, it's got pH. It's fine. You can eat it down there. It's got acid.
It was a weird time in life. So it was just like,
This is the most graphic conversation I've had on this show.
you know what? You knew what you had when you brought us over here.
Episode 5, the 2 Live Crew episode.
it really did go there. It really did go there.
I'm over here talking about fucking chicks in the ass, and this dude's over like fucking feet, and Roddick's over here like,
Bro, that was my first
booty
time.
hole.
I like booty holes. And that's the only, I think I'm the cleanest statement in this whole thing. I just realized that I've been the cleanest statement in this whole thing. Everybody was like, I'm gonna fuck feet, I'm gonna fuck hand, and I was like, I like booty holes. I mean, like looking at them.
That should bring it up.
It sounds almost wholesome when you say it. Like,
I know,
it's like we've been talking about what a great dad you are. Like, booty holes, guys, booty holes.
Yeah, they're
you know
cool.
what?
Well, that's
Fuck
when you only
yeah.
have 7 kids and not 12. Booty holes.
Yeah, like it's like going fishing. Like, hey, let's go bang some chicks in the butt. Sure, Dad.
I mean, now that you mentioned
Don't have as many kids as me, boy. Go that.
You only go to Vegas once, guys. No.
That's the advice I'm giving out to young people.
This is the best birthday ever.
Don't you love that though? Like the girls are like okay, look, I don't know. Everyone's first time is either good or bad. Sometimes it's amazing. Sometimes it's like dog shit. Either you come too fast, or whatever. But like for me, my first time was with a girl that was far beyond any experience I should have had. So every girl afterwards is just like it's like when you try hair. Obviously, no one tried heroin here, but like. You know the idea when you try heroin?
Obviously, wink, wink, I guess. Because that was a pretty nice save, bro. Do you need to talk to somebody? No.
If you have tried a great drug, like meth, heroin,
you said a great drug? Wait, hold on again. A great drug?
That blue magic. I'm just saying, if you try something good, and it's like, it's really good the first time, and then like the next time you try it, it's not quite as good. That was my sexual experience. Like the first girl I have sex with, she did some shit that, like, when you're for your first time, you don't need to have happen because now your expectations way up here. Like this girl,
she massaged your prostate.
No, she blew me in a fucking pool while a lady was with her kid on the side.
In the pool?
Yes, under the waterfall. I'm getting drenched and getting blown at the same time. Like she did all the shit. Anal, first time. No condom, first time. Like she did all the shit.
Oh, she took you through a porn movie for your first time.
She took me through the spectrum, son.
She was a whore.
And she was half white, half Asian, so it was like double down. I was just like, she was gonna do all the freaky shit.
Maybe she was a nice girl. She was just really into you.
Well,
she could have been.
No, I found she only met me because on OkCupid.
Oh wait, you guys were doing the good drugs again, right? Meth.
No.
She was on meth. She's sucking dick. She's fucking me in the ass.
Actually, it was absinthe.
Put the fucking ketamine key in my nose. You know?
God. She only fucked me because she saw me. We went to the same anime convention.
Fish hooked me with the coke finger. No.
Anime convention.
Yeah, she saw that. Like some of the people that I took pictures with, she was like, "Oh, I remember that same dude in that Deadpool costume."
Oh,
and that's
did she do like the high pitched moan like in hentai to really get you into it?
No, she grunted, motherfucker. She was like, "Yeah, you like that Asian pussy?" I was like, "Oh shit, okay."
Sushi.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now.
She took me to the hole.
You
bro.
should have wifed her. I'm just gonna say it.
I mean, she did end up becoming like a fucking pharmacist, so I could have got legal drugs.
Yeah, she's definitely would have been the
she
girl.
She would have been
like
getting
hair.
you.
I like
She would have
hair,
been getting you illegal Viagra and keeping you pumping her. That's what would have worked out for
Bro,
you.
I'm black. I don't need Viagra. I'm half Jamaican. I don't need fucking Viagra. Shit.
No, I was just saying because of the sex.
Yeah,
thing.
no,
yeah, whatever.
She
Anyway,
She was
through
something
some
else,
things.
man. She was scary. Like she was fun.
I wish I'd have met her. I did. Like even now, I'd be like, I can hang out with you. You're cool.
I realized when she fucked me though.
kids are moved out. We can hang out.
Like I looked at her Facebook and I realized why she was into me because I looked at her Facebook and deep down, her ex-boyfriend, I looked just like that dude if he gained like 60 pounds. At the time I was 235. So I was just like a slightly more buff version of her ex-boyfriend.
A slightly more buff
Same
version
hair,
of Wyclef Jean.
Exactly.
Got
Had the same hair, everything. So that's why she fucked me.
She used to be the sweetest girl.
This is bro. I just want to talk to you. Forget me.
She took me to the dark side, bro. And after that, every girl I'm with, I'm like,
that's those are the best experiences. No, when you just randomly come across that one girl that just fucking is a demon and just fucks your brains out.
But that was all of college.
That was always the best.
Every girl in college, I've never dated a straight girl, so every year through college was just some chick into some shit like, can you tie me down? Can you slap me? Do you have fire? Like it was every girl I met throughout college.
Ugh,
I did set a girl on fire in college once.
I did meet one that nice. Like, but we didn't date. She was like a good friend of mine.
No,
She was telling me that was her thing that she liked. She said they don't just cut me. I just want to draw a little blood, and I was like, draw a little blood.
So you want a felony?
Speaking of, I have a good friend that's a comedian.
You don't marry him.
That was on the show recently. That's black. Okay, I'm drawing a picture so you guys will get it. Okay, if you watch the show, you'll get it.
Other than the two black people right now?
Well, actually, most of the people I hang out with aren't white, so that's a long story. But anyway,
that keeps you safe.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the white people are terrible. Anyway,
Oh, bro.
I'm just kidding. I love you guys.
Except Mike Hudak.
You
Give Hudak a pass.
I like Hudak. He was a wrestler, so he probably has a little bit of seats. I respect
dude,
that.
we actually talked about that when he was on. It was a fucking amazing conversation. But anyway, yeah. I had one friend, though. He was in a hotel with some chick. That's a close friend of mine. You guys probably know when I say close friend. Anyway, he was in a hotel with some chick, and like he was like, yeah, man. Like he did something. I guess this chick was like cutting him. And he also has, you know, an autoimmune disorder, and his skin's real soft and punctures easily, and he's letting somebody cut them. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
what does he have? Hemophilia or some shit?
I don't want to say exactly. It's pretty specific.
Oh, you're like,
it's not
how
AIDS.
specific is it? We're going like, oh,
I
that guy.
do. I do have a friend with AIDS though, or HIV. I don't think it's full on AIDS, but I do have another friend.
Either one is bad, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you're not Magic Johnson. You don't have the money to like hide that away.
Yeah.
He's healed. He apparently is fine.
You know, scientists, it was actually recently, some people that were HIV positive, they just kind of like healed on their own.
Yeah, there has been one guy that actually was cured.
I guess the drugs they were using were so good that like they built not quite immunities, but like resistance, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they need an excuse to get us the fucking again. Remember a couple years ago, John wasn't it the former speaker of the House, something Ryan, he's a bitch ass nigga. He was like, Americans aren't having enough
Wasn't
kids.
that Paul
And it's
Ryan
like,
or something?
Paul Ryan, there you go, that bitch ass nigga. He actually complained that
He
Americans
is
aren't having enough
that
kids.
thing that you said. He is that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
he
can't say
really
the
is.
That
last
thing
word,
that you
of course.
said.
But yeah, he actually complained that Americans aren't having enough kids. I'm like, do you know how much rent costs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
if
he
I-
is totally removed from it.
If
I had
rent was
7 and it was
$800, I'd have
crazy.
kids. Yeah, no. If rent was $800, I'd have kids. If rent was only $800, I'd have a couple kids. I love kids. I would
Yeah.
love to have a couple kids and 2 dogs. I love that. But with rent costing $1,200 minimum in Austin, bitch, you be lucky you get me for 6 years.
Yeah.
Be happy you get my labor.
No, dude, look, man, I'm gonna be honest. Having kids early, having them while I was in the military, that helped a lot too.
Like in a good way or bad way?
In a good way, because it was easy to birth them. It didn't cost me a lot.
Oh,
and,
did you even
know,
birth them?
being-
Because military men typically don't birth their own children.
Oh yeah, no, I could have birthed these.
You make me like, cause you're black. You come back like, this kid is extra white.
Yeah.
Are you sure this was mine?
Yeah,
like, he looks like Bettino over here.
It's a crazy thing. You have kids in the military and it's cheap, and a lot of times if you live on base, and you get paid for each dependent, it kind of tricks you. And then you leave the military and you got a wife and kids, and then you realize the real world is so much harder than this.
Yeah.
You're bringing up living on the military base. How the fuck do other shootings on military base? There's like a lot of armaments. Guys are walking around with guns. How are there shootings?
Because all of the weapons are kept in the arms room behind lock and key,
They don't trust
passcode,
y'all?
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't.
Which means the y'all
Think
should
about-
be fighting
well,
fucking wars
Here's
then.
why. Here's why. When you see how some junior NCOs and whatnot, or even some of the upper echelon people treat people, that's why they don't trust people with guns.
Yeah, no.
See, this is
Cannot.
why I feel like the president, anyone who becomes president who sends you motherfuckers to war, you crazy fucks who decide to sign up, I feel like the president, before he's able to take that like oath and shit, should have to go through not even go through the military, but go through like the basic training, just so he understands like, hey, you're sending these people, these young men to go fight, young men and women to go fight this shit. Just so you know, this is just the entry exam.
I'll tell you a story. My very first NCO at my very first unit, my first direct supervisor, he was fucking horrible to me. He didn't like me for some fucking reason as soon as he met me.
That's weird.
He would smoke the dog shit out of me every fucking day. He would say fucking horrible shit to me all the time. Just treated me like fucking dirt, dude. And they had this little subordinate guy that was like the specialist under him, and he would echo stuff through him to like fucking, do to me and shit. I remember the one time I just moved into this room, like in the middle of the night, because the room opened up. Out of like you start in the little like, I can't think what the name of it is, like the reserve or whatever. Like then you move down to the regular room. And he came in the room the next day, and it wasn't like spotless clean because I just moved in. Like I had to get there and scrub the floors and shit. And so it's like, oh, this room's disgusting. Like you need to take all your stuff outside. So I take my bed and like all of my stuff out into the parking lot, and then go scrub the floor. And while I'm scrubbing the floor, he calls the CQ desk phone and has them smoke me while I'm doing that. Oh, it was bad, dude.
I don't get that. Like I
was-
don't know you that well.
Yeah.
I've only been like literally the most experience with you I have is
Yeah.
like being in a roast battle.
Yeah.
Like the only experience I really have with the other end, if you open mics.
Yeah.
I like you. So like the fact that this dude who like maybe one
Oh.
day if you decide not to be IT and want to fight, he needs you to be there. Like, he doesn't like you. What the fuck,
dude? I promise to you, I wasn't doing anything like bad or wrong.
Did you fuck his daughter?
No, but here's the best part. Let me explain. So we went through this period where it was real rough between him and me. And then one night, I was out in the Ville, outside, off post in Korea. It was like winter. It was the winter. I found this dude talking on his phone to his mom back home. He could barely stand up, drunk out of his mind. He kept falling down and shit. And rather than beat the shit out of this dude while I had the opportunity or leave him out there, what I did was I picked him up. I picked him up, and I walked with him, and I took him, and I sat him down somewhere. I got on the phone with one of his buddies, and then I put him in a cab, and I rode with him into town and took him to his buddy. And then he ended up writing me, like, the next day or whatever and thanked me and stuff, and our entire relationship changed. Because he was like, I was completely out of it and, got PTSD and all this shit. And rather than leave me out there, to fail to my own devices or to kick me while I'm down, you instead chose to take care of me. And it went from that to when I came to Fort Hood. He was at a unit here. We met up. We had beer. And we became good friends.
It's weird to have the militaries like that, though.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of guys that are broken people do broken shit.
Exactly. That's
There's
what it is.
a lot of broken people in the military.
Charlemagne the God said this shit. Hurt people.
That's,
yeah, man.
And that's what it is. Like some people that seem shitty, they're carrying a lot of hurt around. It's not a scapegoat.
No,
And it's not an
at all.
excuse.
They're
But
just
when you
broke.
understand it, it changes how you deal with them.
Yeah.
And it takes you out of having to lower yourself to any point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you see that person, like
And
they're
it
hurt. I
also-
don't have a.
It
racing
also
pony.
removes you from anything they may have said or done to you because, like, wait, there's nothing wrong with me. Like, I didn't deserve any of that.
I'm fucking precious. You're a piece of shit.
Well, that's
yeah, exactly. That's
like
how
the
you
same,
look at it.
the same thing like when I went through my divorce and the ex and all that. Like once I realized how deep some of the mental health stuff was, from her childhood and whatnot, I was like, wait, there's a lot going on here that has nothing to do with me that I keep taking responsibility for. If somebody doesn't take that stuff seriously or get help, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to eventually be like, okay, this is the analogy I use for that. For relationships and in general, if anybody's struggling with anything like that, listen very closely. Think of it like holding a bottle rocket.
Oh God.
You love the bottle rocket. You love it. You're just holding on to it. But it's lit, and it's blowing sparks all over your fucking hand and your forearm, and you're getting burnt. Let it go. Shoo. Yeah,
You're going to get hurt holding on to it.
exactly. You're just hurting yourself.
Such
Let
an
it go and let it do what it's going to do. Maybe it burns out and it doesn't blow up, but if it does, you're not going to get hurt.
That's a really good analogy, actually.
Yeah.
No, it happens, man, so much too, man. And it's, and I think it changes you, man. Like and that was what I was saying earlier. It's like when I got to the military, I thought I was messed up. But then I started hearing other people's stories and I was like, I'm not that messed up. This guy got it way worse, man. And it changes how you deal with people. Now, at the same time, there are some people they're so broken. And I if there is a nonviolent route, I will go that route. Now, back at one point, man, I would whoop your ass if I had to. Like, if I had to, say, I'm going to have to dust this fool off.
Oh, man.
And then I'd whoop
I
that
love
ass,
that.
and then we become friends.
I love that.
But it's just like one of those things, like, I don't want to go that route, but we can. Okay?
Yeah.
I don't want, here's all the other options. I'm going to give you this 4, and let's say the 5th one is getting your ass whooped. And then it would be down there.
I recognize with that so much. Like I totally feel what you're saying because like there's been like most of the fights I've been in ever.
Yeah.
I don't go looking for trouble or like talking shit or creating beef, but people would come at me like they would like because of who I am as a person, they would either think I was like smug or fake, not genuine, whatever. But I'm like, no, like I'm just genuinely a good person. Like I just want to chill, just trying to be cool with everybody. I don't know why anybody's having an issue. Like
I'm really here to tell jokes and have a good time.
Yeah, that's it.
And it was it.
yeah. So that's just what it would be like. People would try to check me or whatever, and I'd be like, eventually, just puff my chest out a little bit, like, okay, so I guess we're gonna do this. I've been sucker punched a bunch of times,
Really?
and most of the times when I got sucker punched, mind you, I'm like, okay, I guess we're doing this. And then, you know, if anytime I got in a fight or whatever, if I get to where I'm in the mount and I'm punching somebody, I'll ask them if they're done. I don't beat somebody unconscious. I don't kick them in the head because I don't want to be caught with
I don't want to kick you in the
Why?
head, but I have.
That's attempted murder if you kick somebody in the head
I
on
mean,
the
not
ground.
kick him in the
On
head,
the
but,
on
like,
the
I'm
ground.
not
If you're
gonna let you
standing
get
up,
up in
if you're
Texas.
standing up, do believe you can catch this shin across the jaw. But if you're on the ground, I'm not going to fucking punt you.
Yeah, I
That's what
will
I'm
tell
saying,
you
in
this. I've
Texas?
done
Yeah, no.
the one where a guy took a swing at me with a lock on his hand.
Oh God.
And I saw the lock, and so I stepped back, and he just missed me. But it made me so mad that I punched him, and we were fighting in a high school. And what I did is I caught him, his head, like by the neck, and I stuck it in the locker door, and I was slamming the door on his neck.
Guess what? Here's my thing. If anybody jumps you or uses a weapon, all rules are out the window
Yeah,
because
of
now you're trying to
course.
kill me.
Well,
now you're
see,
trying
that's
to
what
kill
I
me.
thought, because if he'd have
Sorry,
connected with that
baby.
lock
Yeah.
on
You gotta
his,
go.
like the
Yep.
combination lock around his wrist, if
Yeah.
he'd have hit me in the temple, I'm gone.
Oh,
yeah,
you know.
lights
And
out.
You know
So-
he'll stop or not. You don't know
So
that.
what I was
Yeah.
gonna do was
You did the right thing.
I just and when they took me to the office and they were like, they expelled me. I mean, I got to come back to school like the next day, but I
Yeah.
had to go meet the superintendent, and I told her, I figured when he took the swing with the lock, all bets were off.
That's
At
the
that
rule.
point that he's trying to hurt me.
That's the
So I
rule.
was just wanted to knock him unconscious so he couldn't get back up and swing at the lock again.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, that makes sense. And they let me come back to school.
Yeah.
That's
But
Kobe. Now they won't let you do that.
But
Now
that-
they look at you now. They're
it's
like,
always-
"Oh, you're trying to hurt them."
Yeah,
like,
but
no, you're trying to fuck me
I
up.
really,
That's always
how
been
I
my mentality, man. You're right on point.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
don't go out to pick fights, but what I would do is like, okay, my dad
I'll,
worked for
I'll
Social
defend the
Security.
shit out of myself.
Yeah,
Do
he
it.
worked for the government, so we moved a lot when we were kids, and I'd be in a school, and I'm like, I might be here 6 months, I might be here the whole year. I don't know how long we're going to be here. So I'd get in, funny kid, fat kid, New Orleans. I'm gonna be at this school for a while. I'm gonna tell jokes, make some quick friends, and then I may ghost you by third grade. I may be in a new school by third grade. I may leave halfway through this year. So because we moved so much as kids, and that's how it was, every time you're in public school, somebody's gonna test you. In public schools in New Orleans, somebody, and especially when you're black and you live in white neighborhoods and you talk a certain way, or as they used to say, you say I'm white. Okay, that's called English. You're taking the same class with me, Jerome.
You just, I mean,
I-
you taking ownership of a language that
That-
you barely even
the
own.
exact experience you're describing, I had the exact opposite one.
Okay, so you already knew what's going on, did you?
Yeah, I
Like, you know
do.
what's the cruel joke of that? Like, they take some white people take credit for English as if like they wrote it. It's like some of y'all in certain parts of the country
Yeah.
don't even speak English. You speak Creole or
Yeah.
damn near basically retard.
Yeah, and they be wanting to fight you
Yeah.
because you sound white, and then it'd be like, okay, I don't want to fight you, but I am giving out ass whoopings if you need one. You can catch one. So I would try to make jokes and keep everybody peaceful, but if we had to fight, we'd be friends by the time we got through with the fight.
You don't got a choice, bitch. You don't got a
'Cause
fucking
I'm
choice.
going to try to hurt you
there's-
to make you stay this way.
This
There's-
ass whooping is gonna be friendship.
There's people I'm cool with now that tried to punk me or bully me back in the day,
Oh, yeah.
and we're friends now. Like,
I'm still cool with a lot of people, man, that I fought
Yeah.
in fourth grade, junior high school. Like we knew each other on Facebook. We stayed in touch. They saw me when I started doing comedy. They've been some of my biggest supporters. But I can remember fourth grade fighting that fool after school one day.
Yeah.
I can clearly remember those fights, and they were like some of the coolest. But it's a weird thing, man. But it's kind of like I grew up in a weird time though, too, man.
that's called being, that's called, being men, being adults, growing up.
Yeah,
you
man.
know?
Can you reset it now? Where like now no one really wants to fight because either
Yeah.
someone's like that crazy kid who has to bring a gun to school because they're a bitch.
My whole thing,
or worse.
my whole thing with fights is like I say, like you see it all the time. These stuff people post online. People that are really aggressive and get into fights or whatever, they don't understand human anatomy. So like when they punt somebody on the ground and they break their jaw or like cause brain damage or kill them, like they don't know you're not supposed to do that. There's like a part where you're supposed to stop.
Yeah.
And people like, or when somebody goes unconscious when you're pounding them, you don't keep pounding them. They're
No,
already
let 'em
out.
go.
They're
good.
done.
They're done.
But people get this whole ego rush and they're in the mode, or people are hyping them up or whatever, and they go too far. And that's the only thing that scares me about fighting, especially like being in like a club or something or a bar. You don't know what motherfuckers are going to do. I own guns. I don't flash my guns. I don't take my guns out places, but I have
Open
them.
carry.
Those are for home security. I have 4 kids, and I'll put some hollows through somebody pretty quick. You know what I'm saying? That's that.
That we're a gun owning family.
Yeah.
My mom's 70 and she owns several. I'm gonna tell you a crazy story about that one day.
Tell me now. We got.
Okay,
We got. This is a 2-hour show. We're about.
Oh, okay. Let me
fucking
break this story.
Almost 40 minutes in. You're good.
So my mom, she was like, "Hey, you going on the road with comedy? Your brothers, touring with music. I don't want to be home alone. I'm gonna get a concealed carry. I don't know if you need a gun, Mom. I've seen you drive. I don't know if you need to keep a gun in your purse. I just want it for security." So she goes through the whole thing. So one day she comes home with the target, and I'm looking at this target, and there's one right where the carotid would be in the neck. Then there's one right where the penis would have been.
Oh wow.
And then the next 7 shots were all center mass.
Oh wow.
So I'm looking at this target, and I'm going, "Mom, which one of these was the first shot?" And she went, "The neck, the carotid." I said, "Why?" She said, "Well, I figure if they break in the house, I don't want them to die quick. I'm going to shoot them in the neck and let them bleed out slow. Because if they're grabbing for their neck, which is what you would do," and she's a nurse. This is a nurse. She said, if somebody gets shot in the neck, they're going to reach for their neck. She said, they're not going to try to grab a gun. They're not going to be able to concentrate. All they're going to be doing is hands to their neck, trying to hold the blood. She said, second shot is to the dick. And I went, "Why that one?" She said, "Well, I figured if he was trying to come in here and rape me, he needs to know no. So I'm going to shoot him in the dick. He can't do it."
Solid argument. Yeah.
I said, "Okay." Then what were the rest of these shots? I said, "You could have put those other 2 all center mass and stopped them." She went, "No. That's because if he doesn't believe in God, he's going to get to find out that night if Jesus is real. So I'm sending him on the rest of the shot. He's going to bleed out slow. I'm going to shoot his dick off, and then I'm going to send him to see God." That was her argument to me. And I was like, I told my brother, I took pictures of it, and I sent it to him. And he was like, "If I ever pull up to that house and there's police cars out front, I'm going to the officer to say, is the robber okay?" "I'm not worried about that old lady in the house." I said, "No, she's okay. We know she's going to be okay." And she's got so many guns up in that room, and it's just like,
there's a gun under her titty, whether you know it or not. It's just like, bitch, you thought you were coming in unarmed. No.
Don't come up in here.
I gotta get my mom a piece. She got she have a niece and nephew there. My sister's kids. The only reason I haven't is because my niece and nephew are there. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, because they've got, they're away from their family and stuff, like I said, or their mom, because of different reasons there. They've been here for a few years now. But I worry about, like, depression and stuff and them just finding it and,
Get the lock in the case.
Yeah,
it'd be perfect.
They have the trigger locks and shit now.
Yeah, you can put the trigger lock on it. And see, the beauty of a trigger lock is if your mom knows where the key is.
Yeah.
And that gun's like, because in my bedroom, I have a Rutger 9 that sits in the case.
Based too,
it's just like, hey, I can pop, and then I can get that one out quick. There's a 12 gauge in the closet I'll sew up in my room. There's more guns on the other side of the house. Yeah. So we're one of those houses like when everybody always laughs and says, if the zombie apocalypse broke out, I'm going here. I'm not. I'm going to be inside watching the news, and then from my bedroom, I can look at the front door and we're good.
The whole thing, like I like firearms. I've shot a bunch throughout life and stuff. I didn't actually make budget for them until all the Corona stuff started happening.
Oh yeah,
because people were acting so fucking stupid and crazy
for a while. Yeah.
So
for a while,
like
at first, man,
people dumb today.
It was worse at one point. But no,
lot.
like I went down to Action Pawn.
Yeah.
They had brand new guns in the boxes. I bought a fucking Taurus G3, really nice, has the double trigger action on it, fucking sweet. Got that with some nasty rip rounds for it, the fucking hollows. And I got a brand new out the box fucking Ruger AR.
Ooh.
It's I'll show you after the show. It's
nice.
I'll go on there's pop sites right now, fucking, but yeah, I get a scope and whatnot, get it set up, but.
That's nice, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, like I got I needed something to have as a sidearm and something to have for. If we got to hold the fort down, like that's
everybody
the thought.
needs to hold the fort down gun. And I have friends that are like, even when I lived up in Amarillo, they're like, hey, I don't like guns, blah guns, boo guns. And I don't mind people that feel that way. I mean, that's great. But I grew up in my family, we are all from Texas. I grew up with grandfathers that hunted. My dad had a hunting rifle. They hunted duck, they hunted squirrel. My friends hunted deer.
That's the kind of family I come from. Like my dad, like that's all they do. Him and his twin brother. They hunt.
They went and did their thing. And so what I'm used to having guns around me, and gun safety was taught to me at a young age. So I've never been boo guns. My thing that I wish people would do is take that same amount of energy that you have in your hatred of guns and put it toward getting better mental health for people.
There you go.
Because you take care of that, a lot of these other things are going to fall into place.
One of the big things that I've really been looking into and really have embraced with all the different, the police brutality stuff and all that stuff that's been going on, touchy subject, I know.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Super touchy.
Ooh,
but,
boy.
but yeah. One of the things people have brought up, though, that I'm a huge fan of is and police, for one, need longer and more extensive training.
Yes.
100%.
God,
Way
yes.
longer. Way longer. That's one. And two, for specific like domestic calls and stuff like that, get social workers. Have social workers that you deploy in those situations to deal with mental health stuff, or maybe somebody has some type of special needs or whatever, because cops aren't built to deal with that. And especially now, dude, they're fucking like
But what are
they're
cops
beating
built
up
for
handicapped
anyway?
people.
I know too many cops who can't even deal with a person grappling with them.
Yeah.
The fact is that cops don't know jujitsu fucks with me. That
Yeah.
I know a
Don't
cop
they
who trained
just-
me martial arts who knew how to fight, jujitsu,
Yeah.
knew everything, and like he didn't need the gun as his first result. There are too many cops that
Yeah.
are fat.
Yeah.
There should be no such thing as a 250 pound
If the
cop.
Army has weight standards and all that, why don't cops? Because if they're supposed to, and they're technically, if you want to get into it, aren't supposed to be a localized force. That's like in the Constitution. We're not supposed to have local militarized
Here we are.
shit, but here we are. But yeah, I don't think it's so much defund the police, but I think it's get rid of police unions for one, because that shouldn't exist. And two, because that's the accountability stuff. But also two is more
should-
vetting, mental health checks on them, way more training, and lethal. I think we're at a point with technology and society that lethal force, like immediately having a pistol or whatever. I don't even think that should be a thing. I don't think a cop should pull up with a pistol to every scene at all.
Like a blow dart with like knockout gas or some
Dude,
shit?
I swear to, we have so much technology now. There was a shotgun I was gonna buy. It was this Tesla shotgun that you shoot it and it sends out electric barbs like in a
Tesla?
fucking net. Yeah.
The fuck? What
It's
is
this
Elon
yellow-
even doing right
No,
now?
this was years ago. This was years and years ago. They have this yellow shotgun that you shoot it out and it has these electric barbs on it. I was totally gonna buy one. I thought it was badass.
Yeah.
Like shoots a net around somebody, just shocks the shit out of them.
It puts them down.
It's a little softer than hitting somebody with rock salt. So
And it's such a weird excuse when cops say that I'm afraid for my life. Like, well, bitch, aren't you always afraid for your life with this job?
yeah.
Like, I know military dudes who were like from day one were afraid. They were afraid from their job. They were afraid for their life when they were just dealing with their fucking sergeant.
Yeah,
Like,
you're afraid for your life working at the fucking gate, checking
So-
IDs. Like,
So why are you such a bitch? Shouldn't you be a real fucking man right now if you're doing this job? Like, I'm afraid for my life.
Well, the thing,
yeah, they're getting shot at.
a very true thing that a lot of real diehard Republicans and stuff don't want to accept, is the fact that there are quite literally, because I watched a Dateline or Nightline special years ago about the police union stuff and like the secret society shit in the police force. They all have like matching tattoos and shit that mean shit. Like there's literally like white supremacists and Nazis
On the
active
police force.
in the police force, and
Yes.
they're all networked and shit, and they plant drugs on people and they beat people. People don't get, like, there's motherfuckers that don't understand, like, because they haven't done their research. Like, nah, fuck that, back to blue.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you can, like, no, like,
Dude.
And you're breaking the blue for what?
There
You
was
don't
a-
even know a cop. You don't even know one.
just saying. And it's all out of, and like that's where like a lot of inherent like underlying racism shit is when you see people jump up with the all lives matter stuff and the back the blue and stuff like that. And I'm like, where was this energy until a black man was killed?
What about all the white dudes that got shot? You don't care about that shit either.
And you say like you support the troops and stuff like that, but the troops don't agree with what the fuck you're saying. A bunch of troops don't agree with shit that Trump's saying or whatever. I'm not trying to get too overly political, but
what
I
if Trump,
personally
though, like what he does still affects you. If you're military,
Yeah, absolutely.
Your life is like literally hanging on the line. If he says, "Hey, go fuck with Iran."
My entire basis, like I said, like the difference of talking about life and our perspective and stuff.
Yeah.
My entire thing is being independent because I think political parties are fucking toxic. They're cancerous. Because what happens is somebody puts on a different colored tie, whatever tie they want to wear that day, and that they use as an umbrella for protection from fucking criticism.
They treat it like it's a sports team.
It's
What is
retarded.
We treat
Ameri-
politics in this country like sports.
I love Americans. but a good chunk of us are fucking retarded.
Yes.
Probably 60%.
And it's willful ignorance because they feel emboldened and empowered by saying something that makes somebody else upset because they're having a bad day.
Like the word
I hate
libtard.
my fucking boss, but you know what? Fuck you libtards.
Oh my God.
Fuck you guys, because we're over here making money and paying taxes to why the wealthy elite aren't paying shit. Like, fuck taxes. I don't want to pay taxes when I only make $30,000 a year and this guy makes $1 million a day. Suck my dick. Like,
Not even a day. He cost me
and you
$1
know
million.
what? You know what? And I do think that we are taxed on too many things in too many ways, but taxes do have some amount of purpose for social programs and shit like that. And the reason that they're problematic is that the government wastes so much money on bullshit.
Exactly.
Remember the story about the teddy bears being bought so they can keep their budget?
And if you want to talk about shit like education, healthcare, all that stuff, it's all grossly inflated, like grossly disgusting. The money that gets paid for a fucking ER bill or something. There's no way a rational person looks at the way that stuff costs versus what you get out of it, either like from your degree or whatever, and can say that that's okay. It's not. That's why I'm real big on vocational schools and shit. That's what I'm push my kids towards. Like, hey, get a skill, learn to weld or something, because you're gonna get paid right then, and then you can take that money, you can invest it, you can put it in a 401k, you do whatever the fuck you want.
Plus, those skills aren't so specific. Like, if you learn how to do like animation, which I learned. You can only do animation, but you learn to weld, you can make whatever the fuck you want. You want to build a house? Cool.
Yeah.
You want to build a building? Great. You want to make swords for a fucking living and start a YouTube channel? Go ahead. You can do whatever the fuck you want, welding and coding.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's not to say being scholarly or whatever is not important. It is. We need those people, but they don't need to be in tremendous debt because they are those people.
Yeah, because I went into debt to go get an education, I hate it.
Being a
We
doctor
should
should be
take
free.
better care of the people in our country that are our brilliant minds and our creators and our healthcare workers. We should take way better care of them than we do.
Yeah.
It is stupid that we put those people in debt.
Can you
It
imagine
is,
being a
and it's
doctor for
even,
free?
and
How
it's
rich you'd be?
even, it's even dumber that we make the reward like putting other people in outrageous debt in order to pay for them later. Like when they're doctors, driving Ferraris and shit. Like, why? Like, if they should make good money, of course. They're heart surgeon, whatever, brain surgeon, doctor, whatever. Healthcare workers should be taken care of.
But if you're good at being a doctor,
But
you
that
should be
doesn't
free to
mean
get
that regular
anyway.
people should be in debt. And the reason that exists is the entire racket with like insurance and predatory lending from banks and shit for education. It's like layers to all this stuff, dude. It's just
The U.S. has monetized living. In the
Yes.
United States, we monetize living just to be a citizen. And other countries, and it's been shown in other countries where they're like, hey, you're not going to pay for secondary education. We want an educated populace. Guess what? Those people who are highly educated in those populace tend to understand the politics and the political ramifications of their government way better than most Americans.
Yeah.
Most Americans that I deal with only know sound bites and repeat what they heard that sounded kind of cool on Fox
Absolutely.
or
They know pay to
MSNBC.
play. That's all they know how
They
to
just
do.
know sound bites. And then when you ask them, well, did you look into this? Or did you go further into this? Or did you see why this
don't.
happened? And they can't, or I'm saying stuff to them and they're just like, you know what? That's too much.
They
You're
check
shaking
out.
up my way of thinking. I don't want to hear this.
That's just something I struggle with a lot with family.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
That's the main place I run into it as with family, and it makes me feel so bad. Like, look, I don't want you to think I'm calling you stupid. Like, you're my aunt, uncle, whatever, cousin. I love you. We're family. Always will love you. But
You're kind of stupid.
you're being willfully ignorant.
Oh, yeah.
And it's because it messes with your comfort, and it's because it's what you're used to. But you need to understand, because fortunately from the military, I got to travel and be more cultured, and beyond that, like being a kid moving around because of the divorce stuff and all that.
Yeah.
I get to experience and see a lot of different things, get a lot of perspective. So, yeah, you might see people in music videos flashing guns and smacking bitches and whatever in movies or whatever, but that's like a fraction of reality and of society.
A President Reagan slapped the bitch on a fucking movie he was in, and we completely pretend that didn't happen.
President Reagan's a fucking piece of shit.
Okay, yeah.
He wasn't even a good actor. He was a shitty actor.
He's a fucking
a
garbage
being.
human being and just a terrible person for people. It's like, well,
I really was really into Reagan. Like, I really like
You know
trying to
what's the
throw
irony?
myself after Reagan.
You know what's the irony is that the person who was president before Reagan was an actual fucking farmer. A man who, to this day, is probably healthier than the two people running for president now.
yeah.
Like, Jimmy Carter still builds houses. We can't even ask Trump to lift the hammer. Or even fucking Joe Biden. We can't even ask his eyes not to be covered
And
in
that's
blood.
that's what kills me. The whole, like I said, the political division stuff. This is how we got in the position in 2016 with Hillary and Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Hillary is a corrupt piece of goddamn garbage, and you can't tell me
To the core.
any way around that differently.
But they partied together.
But Trump is also a corrupt piece of garbage, and you can't tell me any way different.
They fucking hang out. They
So-
knew each other before
Yeah,
this.
that's what I'm saying. Like, we get, like South Park said, what was it? Like, fucking giant douche and turd sandwich. Like, that's really what we had to choose from. And it's the same thing. And all of this is because we accept the party politics stuff. We need to dismantle the fucking
Lesser
political
of
parties
two
and make people
evils.
stand specifically on their own platform with their own beliefs. And whoever's backing them and where the money's coming from, it needs to be completely transparent. All that stuff needs to be out and open and up front. And as long as America doesn't get nuked or we don't melt down from within over the next few years, I'm like, as my platform grows, I'm going to be pushing that type of thinking. Like, hey, be independent. You can hang out with people you agree with and share ideas, but don't make parties and mob mentality
But
because
that's
it's
the trouble with
fucking
Bernie
cancer.
Sanders. And he
It is.
tried the whole like whether you agree with Bernie Sanders' concept of politics, if he had won, it would have been a person who was not a true Democrat winning, which means that any person who runs afterwards can run as themselves, not as a party member. They can run as, I'm a socialist, I'm a libertarian, I believe the government shouldn't exist. You can run as that person
Yeah.
and talk and then go, well, let me hear what you have to say versus let me hear what your party has to say about you.
Yeah.
And with Bernie, he's kept him and Tulsi Gabbard kept getting stabbed in the back by random
I
bullshit like
love Tulsi Gabbard.
she was hot. She would have fucked up Putin
But-
because he wouldn't know how to handle her.
But as soon as she withdrew and like, yeah, just give my vote to Biden type shit, I was like, you bitch.
What was she
You
gonna
knew
do?
it was gonna happen.
What the fuck was she gonna do?
No,
Yeah.
hear me out. It's
I felt like I thought it was. Gonna
it's
happen.
hard for me to like politicians, right? My favorite politician of all time that I've been able to watch speak during the debates and stuff was 100% Ron Paul. Not Rand Paul, not the son. Ron Paul.
Fuck Rand. What his son? Yeah,
Yeah.
Rand Paul is great. Was it the father?
His father was Ron.
Ron was awesome.
Ron is very libertarian. So he's like small government, all that.
True
He was like
libertarian.
audit the Federal Reserve, all this
Yes.
stuff, like track this money that's being wasted, like we talked about.
He was like Ross Perot, but like without the crazy.
I was a huge fan of him. But yeah, like Tulsi Gabbard, opposite side of the aisle, Democrat, veteran. I was like, she's amazing. Like she took down Kamala. You know, brought up her time as the district attorney and whatnot.
You know why she would have been good as president? If she had dealt with Putin, there's no way. Like every president he's ever dealt
Yeah.
with, he had some kind of like trick. Like Bush is a Christian, Trump's
Yeah.
a sycophant. With her, what do you pull up to like get her into your pocket?
Yeah. And pardon me for calling Tulsi Gabbard a bitch. I don't think she's a bitch, but at the time I was pretty upset.
Yeah,
I'm
you were
not
pretty
gonna lie.
upset.
I was.
Yeah,
I
no.
really was. I was like, come on, dude. You were the answer. You were the answer to Trump, and you just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna give it to the senile guy. Like,
Yeah, but here's my thing, and I kept telling. I have a bunch of friends, especially being a comedian in Austin and working in the video game industry. I've gotten into that conversation about people with Bernie, and like I understand young people's love for it, but I'm
Yeah.
so jaded at 49, and I was like, you do know that everything he wanted to get accomplished, he would have got none of it accomplished.
He would have failed.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, he would have. I said, you have no idea how our government works.
He would have
because
signed a bunch of
know
executive
what?
there's
orders.
so much money coming in from political interest groups
Mm-hmm.
that have politicized education. You think they're about to give up all that money-making racket just so you can get free college? It's
Bernie
never gonna happen.
Sanders is a great fundraiser
Oh God, yeah,
and a lifetime politician.
yeah.
But to be in politics, you kind of the original way. Yeah, you and I could just do it and go back to your regular job. But now you have to be a career
I
politician.
would rather have had Bernie Sanders win or stay in the running than Donald Trump at this point.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's
But-
no shit though.
But you know what I'm saying? I never was like, fuck yeah, Bernie's my favorite. But Bernie is an alternative. Yes, please give me Bernie Sanders.
Yeah,
For the love
I
of
would have
God.
taken him as an alternative, but I also knew that the pipe dream he was selling
Yeah.
is my dream. But I had that dream in '89. I am, when I was 18.
Yeah.
I am so past that dream, and I know it's a crock of shit. Like what you're trying to sell, these are great ideas. They were great ideas 20 years ago, and nobody got them off the ground then, and you're not going to get them off the ground now
At
because
70
I know
fucking
how
eight.
much crooked money is in our government.
A lot.
And there's no way one guy's going to fight that. And here's the other part, and I don't care whether you're, at the end of the day, you're like Republican, Democrat. They're all rich, and you're not.
There you go.
They're all filthy rich. Don't come to me with, I'm one of you. Like when people think.
Tell him, Roderick. Tell him.
Yeah, like Trump is not one of you. If you live in rural Texas or rural Louisiana, he is not one of you. He is the East Coast elite that he's always complaining about.
Fucking New Yorker.
He's a rich fucking silver spoon baby New Yorker draft dodging fucking douchebag.
But so is Andrew Cuomo. So is fucking Elizabeth Warren. Pick one. They're all that
fuck
person.
Elizabeth Warren anyway. I don't
Oh
like
my
her
God.
either.
I don't even want to go down
Let's
this
not
road.
even don't even get me
Don't
even get me started on Elizabeth.
Let's
gonna
go to that reservation right now.
Yeah, we're not going down this road. I'm going to stop it because I'm like, no.
She was basically Lisa Simpson as a candidate.
Oh wow.
Like,
Yeah.
remember how the Simpsons predicted that a white
Okay,
chick
but
would
I
win president?
like Lisa Simpson as a candidate.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was.
She
but
could
she was
play
all
the hell out of that saxophone, I tell you.
But,
So
but Elizabeth Warren was all the negative parts of Lisa Simpson. Like, I know it all. I have a plan for this. And it's like, you have to understand, you don't have a plan for everything because stuff's going to happen that no one's ready for. This is a job that no one knows how to do because it's a job that no one can really do.
I think the funniest part about this entire cycle is I predicted exactly how it was going to go for the DNC for Biden and Harris. Yeah. I said they have their two paper candidates picked out right now that's going to do whatever they want them to do. It's going to be Joe Biden because of the Obama rub. It's going to be Kamala Harris because she's both black and a woman. Yeah. And they're going to try to use that as leverage against people instead of looking at her actual record.
Yeah, because she's not my candidate.
Because we are in a very emotional state right now with everything with social justice and whatnot. And that's what happens. People get fucking hoodwinked, you know?
People want to feel good about their choice.
Yeah.
They want to feel good.
That's like I'm saying, like I get so disgusted, dude. I see people like they post videos of Biden or Harris, whatever, and it's like upbeat music playing, like, yeah, fuck yeah, like take down Trump, like, yeah, take down Trump.
But that's the only thing they have.
But the thing is, though, you're replacing one status quo with another.
That's all you're doing.
That's all you're doing.
Every candidate that could have maybe been different is gone.
And that's what kills me because you see those little glints of hope. Like I said, with a Ron Paul, with a Tulsi Gabbard, you see that little glint of hope. Like, dude, is the population ready to actually read up on where people stand and look at their records and actually vote with their consciousness?
They tried to trick us with fucking guys like fucking
with their fucking retarded ass American Idol favoritism, and it's fucking stupid. And I hate you all. I love you, but I hate you. I just want you to know. And this show is called Everybody Hates Eric, so now just hate me some more and suck my dick. I hate you.
Let's talk about Joe Biden though. He was like, they didn't want Joe Biden either, but they wanted a guy like fucking, what was his name, Beto O'Rourke, who is
fuck that guy too.
That's my point though. Like,
Such
he
a
was
fucking pussy.
He was he's the second coming of a fucking Reagan, not Reagan, but of a fucking of a Kennedy. He's like a fake Kennedy.
Yeah, a fake one for sure.
Like crying and speaking Spanish. Don't fucking speak Spanish during a debate.
You're not even Spanish. Your fake ass Spanish name.
You're Irish. We get it. You can speak Spanish, fine, but don't speak Spanish on a debate. We get it. Don't pander to El Paso. Like, come on.
This whole thing with him was they were prepping him for a later presidential run, but he burned out.
And he can't be president. He can't even be
he
a
shit
fucking
the bed.
senator.
He shit the bed.
He lost to Ted Cruz. You lost to the ultimate cuck who lost to fucking Trump. Like, come on.
Like, watch. I, right now, will put money on AOC being a presidential candidate eventually.
I'll buy that.
That's so hard to
I
even
can
say,
see that.
too.
No, I've already think that.
Candidate.
Yeah, they.
I already say.
Here's the
I
thing.
don't want that, though, in so many ways.
Here's the thing with that. I try to have an informed opinion about people. She says things occasionally I agree with. But when I watched about how like they did like pretty much a casting call for who they were going to hire for that job or like make their candidate to run for that job, it's pretty gross.
She fit the mold. She's what is she, like New York, Puerto Rican, waitress, poor, no insurance, student loan debt.
That's literally how they did it.
And that's the joke. You and me, we don't do this shit for a living. But you and I can point out, I see why she's chosen. She's the right mold.
And that's what I'm saying. Like when I brought up the thing about Harris a minute ago, I don't want to sound ugly or racist or anything. I'm being honest. This is literally how they're playing.
Really how it plays.
I'm half Jamaican. I don't feel like she's a good choice.
They're playing people.
But here's my thing. And do I think she's smart? Yes. Do I think she's educated? Yes.
Yes.
Do I also think that you did some pretty crooked shit when you were a district attorney?
Yes.
But and do I think you targeted black people? Yes. You did some. You knew some of those cases were crooked. You knew some of those takes were bad, and you still prosecuted and because you needed that good prosecution record to run on.
There you go.
And so at that point, don't come to me and like, I'm one of you. You weren't one of me when you were a prosecutor.
I didn't know you were Jamaican and
you weren't
Hindi
looking at us
for
then.
this.
When you were a prosecutor, you did some crooked things.
And isn't she actually like Indian or something?
Yeah, Indian and Jamaican. Like,
yeah.
That's
yeah,
and
and the Jamaican, no. And the Jamaican, like, her dad's like an Indian from Jamaica. Like, because I saw a picture of him, I was like, what is even going on right now?
Yeah,
like,
how mixed is this family?
But I'll roll with it because I just want to see her debate Pence. Because she doesn't have to be perfect. She doesn't have to be great. But Pence has so much shit that
he's a piece of shit. He's a piece of shit.
Even if he was gold, even if he was pure gold, you were still vice president to that guy. You have no defense.
I just wish that the media and all this stuff weren't in so much control as they are, and that Joe Jorgensen could get on the stage.
Have you noticed that like after Khashoggi died, the media got really bad? Like right after, it just nosedived.
I wish Joe Jorgensen could debate them both because she would Trump and Biden would get laughed off the stage.
But she's also a shit candidate too.
I think she's the best of the three.
But that's still the whole best of evil shit we're dealing with.
Yeah.
Because she's still got some shit that doesn't make sense about her. Doesn't make sense at all.
Yeah. I think overall though, like there's more upside with her. But the only reason she's not a reasonable choice is due to the fact that everybody that has a platform or influence just echoes the same shit that they've been echoing. Like, I don't actually have like a thought out political opinion, but whatever this guy says is pretty popular, so I'm just gonna run with that. Like that's what happens.
But in the future though, and I hope that because I promise to God for some reason I'm gonna help either run for public office or help someone run for public office.
Yeah.
I realize there's a key if you really want to win.
Yeah.
Especially now, thanks to people like Joe Rogan.
I haven't taken that off the table. I might do it when I get older.
Oh, I'm gonna do it. I don't think I have a choice anymore. But I feel like there's a key to winning. If you really want to win and you want to do it the grassroots way, quote unquote.
Yeah.
If you are a politician, you have to have a fucking podcast. Purely because if you can just get your point out, like what you believe in long form in a podcast, whenever you go on the debate stage, you be like, no. I'm not going to spend time to explain my shit. You can go to my YouTube channel. Here's my shit. Here's my RSS feed. No. I'm going to use my time to ask this motherfucker questions. Why the fuck are you still fracking in fucking Kansas? Yeah. Why are you still... there's like child... raping going on within the foster care system in there. Like, you're really... You could spend the next 4 minutes...
It's a fucking nightmare, yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
But if you have a podcast to explain all your bullshit and what you believe in, you can now spend all your debate time grilling into this motherfucker who doesn't know how the internet works, doesn't care. All he has is talking points.
Your points are already out.
You can murk him.
That's a good point.
You're the internet darling. You can now work his ass for 5 minutes. They give you 45 seconds anyway to get your point across. You ain't gonna get your idea across about how you're gonna fix economy or how you're gonna do universal basic income. You're not gonna get that across in 45 seconds. But in 45 seconds, as comics, we know you can roast someone's life in 45 seconds.
Yep.
And with 45 seconds, you can completely disrail someone's entire political future by just asking, hey, weren't you on Jeffrey Epstein's island with this picture?
Yeah.
Please explain why you were hanging out with him after his conviction.
I love the part, too, though. There's all this proof that Bill Clinton was close with Jeffrey Epstein.
Creep.
And people are still like, why are we talking about Hillary? Hillary's old as they're like, there's nothing wrong with Hillary. I still would have voted for him. Like, the simple stuff that she did with classified information, which really wasn't simple. Let me say
it's
that.
bad all around.
If I had done a fraction of that in the military, I would be buried under Leavenworth.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
Leavenworth? And I was operations specialist, so I had a secret clearance, and I worked with the custodial maintenance stuff. So I worked with secret material. If I'd have done anything with 1/10 of the stuff that I had in my control, didn't shred something on time, didn't shred it the right way, didn't write it out, didn't put an initial here, Leavenworth.
And that's the joke.
She's out chilling.
That's the joke.
With emails. Like thousands of emails.
But and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how deep the corruption in the political parties is. Not just the DNC, but the GOP is really bad too.
Yeah, both Hillary Clinton and fucking Melania, his daughter, have done both the same shit.
Yeah, and they both should be locked up.
100%. I'm sorry.
No, you're right.
You just got me into this fuck.
We have really gone down the rabbit hole here today.
We really did.
Yeah.
I did not know we were going to. We started with sex and we ended up in politics. I don't even know how we got here.
Well, now that brings up Pizzagate.
Well, the pizza cake. Yeah, now kids' buttholes. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That is off limits. That is not happening.
Wait, what about Herman Cain then?
No, bro, don't get me on that dude.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, don't get me on that. Like when Herman Cain died, I hate to say this, but when he died, it was one of those things like, I kind of thought that was going to happen, bro.
I clapped.
Here was my thing. What was his name? The justice from Maryland or whatever it was that died?
Oh,
Justice from Maryland.
Not justice. I think it was, what was he?
you're thinking about
Maryland.
the black guy that.
Wait, the senator?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lewis?
Yeah, it
John
wasn't
Lewis.
justice. I don't know why I said that. But anyway, no, like I just remember though Trump being like, yeah, I'm not going to pay my respects to him, but everybody went. But then Herman Cain dies, so like he had a backup black guy on
Yeah.
the Republican side that he was a great guy. Up in the back there. It was like,
Yeah.
Mr.
Great
999
American.
plan.
my hands are so tiny. I just
Yeah, he was a great American, and I was like, here's my thing, like Herman Cain. I have this thought. So at one point, I used to be a Republican, okay, and I say that like with no jokes in my system when
It
I say
happens to
that.
black people every
I
now
was a
and then.
Republican for a long time, and it started when I'll say it back in '88. And the reason
Yeah.
it started, my dad and I were having a conversation one time. Reagan, I think Reagan was getting ready to come out of office. We were getting
Yeah.
Clinton, and my dad and I were having a
Wait,
conversation.
you mean Bush?
Yeah,
See,
we were getting. Reagan's coming out. We're getting Bush.
I don't have a problem with anybody being conservative.
Yeah.
I just have a problem with racist. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So
Like,
the money, I agree with you on
Yeah.
the money part, 100%.
yeah.
And that was our talk, was that he and I were looking at it, and I said, my dad was like, Democrats just expect black people to vote for them. They are not going to do shit for you. They're
They
not
do.
going to improve your neighborhoods. They're not going to improve your communities. They're not going to improve your pay. They're not going to improve anything. They just think you're going to vote for them.
Because you're not red.
And so, therefore, if black people went to the Conservative Party and we went to the Republican Party, he said, we might actually have a voice, because now over here, you're going to have to work for these votes. And I said, what really happened, and I thought about it, and I kind of went that way, and I was a Republican all the way up until about 2011, 2012, and I remember telling my wife at the time, I'm going to leave the Republican Party. And she was like, why? So I was with him like hardcore from 2002 to 2012, 10 years. And she was like, why? I said, this Tea Party coming in, there's a lot of fringe right-wing groups snuck off in here under the Tea Party banner.
Yeah.
And I said, and I think Republicans are just so happy to have this energized base that we're not going to say anything about, these are neo-Nazis. I said, these are neo-Nazis.
There's two fine Nazi
sneaking
flags
in
around.
under the Tea Party banner.
It's the same thing where we have like volatile, super duper communists on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's no
I-
real normal people anymore. Except for us.
And the people, and here's my thing with that. Okay.
We don't
What a
already
lot-
open this. Yeah, let's do it.
What a lot of these younger liberal folks don't realize, the reason communism and Marxism is being pressed so hard and pumped so hard into their minds, especially on college campuses and whatnot, is because China is actively doing a PSYOP. 100%. That's where all that's coming from. There are regularly Chinese nationals that are either here on visas like to visit, or maybe they're supposed to be a doctor or something, that are running security gates at secure facilities and military facilities regularly, a few times a year. That's happening. 2, there are college professors, doctors, whatever, that are working with China and whatnot and have connections to Wuhan and all these other places. There was one recently where they were getting busted and they shredded all this evidence and destroyed their laptop and stuff. There is legitimately like an attack going on to get people to flip the U.S. over.
It has been for years.
Which there is some rationale behind it between all of our, dark and fucked up history and stuff going on currently, right? I get it. You don't deal with that by installing a communist dictator or tyrant
They're just gonna keep
and
running the same
tearing
fucking
apart
railroad.
all of the good parts of our system and society that we have. There's a video from a KGB agent. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I have it on my IG somewhere, but he's talking about how Russia pretty much, with this kind of stuff, played the long game. What you do is you go into a society and you stoke dissension, and you get moles in different little parts of the government to start doing stuff that's like counterproductive and whatnot. And you just start emboldening people, like just create this dialogue of hate and anger in their heads, and you stoke it, and you stroke it, and you work it, and you just keep it going and keep it going and keep spreading it, and to the point that you start a movement like, say, an Antifa, for instance. I don't think that Americans by themselves started Antifa at all. At all.
Mm-mm.
On the flip side, the neo-Nazis and shit like that, like the fascist groups, they're also international.
Because white people get really scared if they feel like they're not in control of something. It seems like in America.
I mean,
I hate to say it, but if they're not in control and they don't feel like they're on top, they feel like there's something wrong, like they're being erased or something.
there are people like that.
Mm-hmm.
Not all white people, obviously.
Well, no, there's all kinds of people. Like, I dealt with the military everywhere that are like that. It's a power trip. You ever heard of the Stanford experiment?
God, yes.
Yeah, and fucking dumpster fire.
Yeah.
But that was an amazing thing,
Facts.
though. But you see it.
Without rambling or ranting too long, yeah, understand that several things that are happening are being done because we have people in positions of power, government, or wherever else, that are there intentionally to bring us down from the inside. And the sooner people, like, realize that and start, like, really looking at stuff that's going on and stuff that's getting said and stuff that people are calling solutions, the quicker we can start fixing it.
Yeah, because, like, we're a family. Whether you like it or not in America, whether you're black, white, Mexican, or whatever, we're a fucking family. It's not a perfect family.
Especially in Alabama, you're fucking family.
Yeah, you really are. You
No.
really are.
Shout out to Alabama. I lived there for a long time.
Like, the joke back in the day was like, you know, there was no country that wants to avoid America because there'd be a gun behind every blade of glass. They didn't say what color that person holding that gun would be.
Yeah.
Because as Americans, we care about our country because, hey, yeah, slavery happened. It was awful. And we need to start pretending like it was only 100 years. It was 400 fucking years worth of shit and then continued. But in the long run, I could move my black ass to fucking Russia. Shit's ain't going to be better there either.
Oh,
Oh,
it's not.
You
Because
know?
if you say something against the government, they come and black bag you.
Yeah, here I'd be like, you know what? Trump's a dumbass. And you know what? That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going to work and pay your taxes. Who gives a fuck? You can say what you want. That's part of being alive. Don't say you're going to kill that nigga. It's
Yeah.
a different question.
Yeah.
No, they will find you for that.
No,
one.
that's different.
The
That's different.
way-
Look how sensitive he is.
And the answer to everything is, for all of you out there and for us, is to just stop bitching. And by I don't mean stop bitching, I don't mean just stop complaining and just accept it for what it is. No. What I'm saying is, if you want our systems and our policies to change, then you have to fucking participate.
Yes,
Exactly.
sir.
You have to go be an educator, go be a politician, go get in those positions where you can have influence and change the minds of the young, change the mind of your peers, change the system altogether. But until people want to take responsibility for that, and they don't, it's not going to get any better.
Yeah. There's no reason there should be like 30-year fucking senators when like you
No,
can
there
change
has to be
local
limits on that
politicians.
shit. Like maybe
Yeah.
like 8 and out. Get the fuck out.
3 terms at the most. I mean, if you
Yeah.
change local politics, your life changes like that. Like you
Yeah.
see that change.
You do.
Like,
And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, as you do that, and then local populaces, and then you go up to state, and then you go up to national. It just makes sense.
well, look at Austin. Austin is retarded in so many ways, positive and negative. But that's because of local politics and people caring about what's happening in their city.
Yeah. Most of the problems from Austin come from people from the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not going to say anything about that.
Fuck you, Seattle. Anyway,
I'm not going to say anything about that.
I'm just kidding. I have friends from Seattle.
I know.
No, fuck them. I know people in Seattle.
I lived in San Diego for a long
I'm just
time.
saying-
And I know a bunch of people that moved from Cali to here, and
Yeah.
like they would call me and I would talk about it. I never thought my friends would move here, and then when they moved here, they came to visit. They really were like, it was almost like I felt this is how people felt when Harriet Tubman took them on the Underground Railroad. They get there to freedom and they'd be like, "This is real." That's how Californians feel when they come to
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah,
The only
They're blown away by
You
it.
realize how much money you keep from
the only
taxes?
the
Oh my
only
God.
issue, and I love Texas. I've been here for several
Oh, yeah.
years. This is the best place in the nation to me that I've been.
100%.
I will say this: when people come to Texas and they see how great it is and how beautiful it is and how awesome it is, but then they want to change it, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, don't change this.
Stop trying to Cali up my Texas. Chill out, bro.
There's a reason this is called Texas.
Baby.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's the part that aggravates me, is everything is going good, and you just need there to be the same kind of drama you had back home.
Like,
Yeah, don't
our
turn
homeless
this
problem
into-
is
California
fine.
is a fucking dumpster fire.
Oh,
People
I
are
left
leaving there
California.
in droves.
I got mad when I realized my kids.
It's going to be a giant slum before you know it. That's it.
95. I can tell you what year it was. I left in 95, and it was the third time that year I had heard that somebody was playing at it was either UCLA or USC. This guy was at college, had been passed through the system because he was really good at football, and he was in college for the 4th grade reading level.
Oh, wow.
And I said, nope.
Yep.
We're out. We're
But that
going to
happens here
Texas.
too, though.
Yep.
That happens here too. Because if a guy can fucking get through the line, we'll avoid them test scores.
Here's the problem with Texas. In Texas, my family and a lot of the families I knew, you couldn't just the school wasn't just going to get to pass you because they knew there was a mom at home.
Why don't we
that
change
would want
that? The whole college athlete thing, the way that works.
Oh.
If somebody can get to a baseline level of just high school or something, let them play fucking ball.
Yeah.
Well,
Why
the
not?
challenge is 'cause,
Why
you
shouldn't
know,
they
the
be
money.
allowed to go on and make millions of dollars if they are a fucking athletic specimen from hell? Why not?
As a person who plays high school football, there is a difference. Because there are some people who just don't. You can make it. There are guys who are smart,
Yeah.
and they do get sold. Like I knew guys who were
Yeah.
like, top tier talent, should have been in the NFL, should have been making money, but there were coaches who were like, I need bread, and the guy was like, hey, if you can get this, you can convince this player to come to my D2 school, I'll give you a couple grand. So
Yeah.
there are guys that get fucked. I feel like college players should get played. They should get paid, but they
Yeah.
shouldn't get paid. They should get paid a regular wage, and the college tuition they should still get a scholarship to a degree. But it shouldn't be so high. But they should also still have to go to class. There should be caveat.
and
They should get
because
paid,
college
though.
is so expensive, like they get those awesome scholarships,
And they make
but
billions
where's it
off
all?
of 'em.
You know,
I mean-
most of it goes towards the fucking school.
I mean, with COVID, you know how upset colleges are that they're debating whether or not they should have college football because they're going to lose millions. They're going to lose
Yeah.
millions of dollars because there are guys not getting CTE that year.
I miss the NCAA games, by the way.
I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Roll
No,
them
Tide.
niggas should
Roll
really
Tide.
get
Roll Tide.
paid.
bro.
Hey, you
no.
worked at EA, yeah.
I
So-
did. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I was there when they announced that they weren't making the game anymore, and I literally almost took a sick day. I was so sad.
Dude, they were the best football game.
Dude, I love the college
The-
more than
the
I love
fucking-
Madden.
the option?
And I said that.
The,
College
the
games are way
option
more
play,
fun.
the option play made it just
College.
more fast paced, you know. And I always liked watching college ball more because I just feel like there's more heart. Like,
Yeah.
you're fighting
It's a
for your
pageantry.
future.
You're
you
not
know?
paying for it. You're
There
not,
was
you
some
know?
beauty to it. There was a pageantry to it. There was the traditions. There was
Yeah.
the sometimes, his dad played this school, his brother played, now he's here. It was a lot of things that go into college football, but also at the same time there was a level of heart. Like
Still
the one
hungry.
that broke my heart, Michael Crabtree in that damn catch when he was playing at Texas Tech and he stopped Texas from that second national championship. It just ruined our chances.
But that's hunger, though. You don't get that when you're in
Right.
the NFL anymore. When you got that $1 million check, you trying like, I don't want to break my ankle this season. When you're in college, I need that Heisman. I don't care. I'm gonna get paid. I want that fucking Heisman. I don't care.
Yeah.
Vince Young ain't getting it. It's mine. It's mine this year.
There are
Fuck Vince Young.
there are players that do care about the game. I'm sure there's a lot of them, but there
Oh, no,
are.
I know a lot of them are like, I got to ball out because I got to get my family out of this situation.
There you go. There's that too. So yeah, no hate towards the NFL, whatever. But I just was always.
It
more
is.
into
At the end of the
college.
day, it's like everything else in America. It's a business, and it's got to
Yeah.
turn a profit.
Yeah. Too bad the Madden games keep getting worse.
Oh God.
Okay, I'm gonna say this,
God.
man. Since I don't work for the company, and I probably have no chance of going back, I think the most toxic game-based community is the Madden player.
Yeah.
I think
Really?
the Madden player, people that play Madden, the video game,
I
are some of the most toxic people online that
Even
I've.
worse than Call of Duty players.
Yeah, no, man. Call of Duty
Really?
players wish they could have this level of
Yeah,
toxicity.
there's a lot of
They-
F words, the new F word, a lot of that, and a lot of the N word.
Let me show you what happened. So, Rex Dickinson, God bless him, he left Madden. He's probably one of the greatest devs, personal, like a person that I look to in the video game industry that I had a lot of respect for, and the stuff he put up with. And people would go on Twitter and be like, "I hope your kid dies and gets cancer
Oh,
because
that's
you
fucking
did
ridiculous.
this game, or
Yeah.
because of that." Was the kind of Madden players you see. Now, do I say every Madden player is that? No.
I think
but
any
I see
human,
enough concentrated on social media.
any
that I
human
hated
that says
community.
stuff like that are just the lowest level vibrating, lowest thinking, just trash, toxic people.
Here's the thing: you think it just be one guy, but on Twitter,
Yeah.
behind that keyboard, it would be millions of trolls.
Fucking
And I'm looking at this all day, and so after a while, like I can see, I'm a video game player, so I'm playing different stuff. I'm following
No
different
matter
companies.
how much you don't
I
like something,
saw stuff
that's
like
not a
that so
reason to
much.
say or do violent things.
Especially you can't make it yourself.
Or
How
the guy
about
that
just-
shot up the
How about just don't buy it? How about just do something else and fuck off?
Do you know how many people I've said this to? Where like I did customer service for a while, and I
Yeah.
would be on a phone call, and the guy would say, "I've spent $60 on a game. You should give me this." First of all, you spent $60. This game generated 19 million in week 1.
Yeah.
If you never bought this game again,
Yeah.
do you really think your $60 is going to make
I
a
do,
difference?
I do think, of course, like with everything, there is a certain level of expectation and accountability that comes with game developers and publishers and whatnot.
There has been
But-
a long-standing problem where like games are just putting out less and
Yeah.
less content and more DLC.
Yeah, it's a lot of the pay-for-play stuff is really, and a lot of that came from, like, in my opinion, started from mobile games.
Yep.
But
But here's the
yeah,
thing.
the bang for your buck thing is, yeah, dude. Yeah.
People, if it wasn't making money, nobody would have copied it. At the end of the day, mobile started this thing where, hey, if you don't want to wait, throw money at this.
Yeah.
And if you want to be the best player at this, throw money at this, and this thing's going to give you an advantage. Mobile players don't mind paying to play and to be the best.
Oh my god, I knew this guy in the army. He spent like thousands of dollars on this fucking tank game he was playing. I was like, what are you doing?
Bro,
Like,
I'm going to tell you, on Team Lift, we did an episode with a guy from Austin. He came on, we got his spending records for Madden 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. We did 5 years. I want to say we covered 5 years. We figured out what he spent. He told us, hey, this year I spent this is what I spent on this Ultimate Team. He broke the numbers down to us. He sent it to us before he came on the show. I then made a list of, here are all the things you could have got had you not spent this money in Madden Ultimate Team. It would have been the 2018 BMW 325i.
Jesus Christ.
Money he clearly didn't care about.
Automatic. I think he could have actually got the automatic, not fully loaded, but pretty damn loaded.
And I don't understand. Like,
Still a BMW, goddamn.
yeah,
I think
32,000.
something has happened where that addictive type, gambling type personality has gotten really bad. Like the flashy colors or winning, the little joy of winning. Like, has the world gotten so dark and so depressing that people just need that?
Yes.
Like, that's the
Yes.
only way they're getting
You live for
that
the serotonin
fucking
shot.
serotonin. Yeah.
Bro, this guy,
It's
okay.
so sad.
He was,
isn't it?
He spent,
Humans.
He was spending 8 to 10,000, 8 to 12,000 a year in just that version of Madden. Because next year we're going to start it over again in
What
August.
else was he doing with his life?
And so here's where it got crazy. He was spending all this money in the game, and we're talking to him about, so what were you ranked? Yo, he was only ranking in the top 800 players in the world.
Jeez, that's nothing.
Top 800. He's not in the top 20. He wasn't in the top 100. Top 800 players. Okay, millions of players were playing Madden. Okay, we'll give you that. You're only in the top 800, and you spending $8,000 to $10,000 a year.
But what do you get out
just
of
to
that?
be? But that was his thing. That was what he wanted to do. He didn't have kids. He wasn't married. That was where he decided to spend his money. But then, when he comes to be talking about, man, I wish I could do this. And I'm sitting there going,
You had the money.
you really could.
Yeah.
And that was why we brought him on the show, and we did that with him. And it's like, because at the time he had a girlfriend, and she wanted to get married. She was really on her head to get married, and she wanted
Yeah.
him to change his whole life, and he's going to move here, and he's going to go do this, and she wants this ring. And I'm just like, she can never hear this episode of the show.
Yeah, no.
Because
not
he
at all.
never gave her a ring, but I could tell you that he could have bought her all the diamonds.
Yeah.
All the diamonds.
That's so sad.
But
$8,000 a year?
he,
I think
y'all,
that's
I'm
really
telling you,
sad,
he was
I do.
dropping $8,000 a
You
year.
shouldn't even have a car note. You should be done paying your car
Yeah.
off and shit. Have a house.
Oh, bro, he could have did
But-
so many things, but it was where he chose to spend money.
You
And he
know,
wasn't the only guy I met
And
like
that
that.
kind of culture with gaming, though, is I used to be a very avid gamer. I play a lot. Now, I got Call of Duty Warzone. I'm not even a Call of Duty player like that, but I played the free one with my brother on Warzone or whatever.
Yep.
And so that's how me and him stay in touch now. We play like, a couple times a week. But outside of that, I was buying the annual WWE games, wrestling games.
Those suck
Nostalgia.
so much.
2K, yeah.
Yeah, nostalgia. Yeah, I'd always get my nostalgia fix from that. But I would start skipping odd years because they would be bad.
Dude,
This last year was so
2020s?
terrible.
Oh my god.
Last year was terrible.
Broken,
glitches.
destroyed.
No,
Yeah.
it was so terrible.
It was
I like-
rushed out.
But the thing is, where they took a whole year off, if the next one's bad, they're gonna lose the license.
I'm gonna tell you
100%.
something. So, started a year. I was at PAX South 2020 in January. I was on a podcast there, and they brought me in as a guest. And we talked about video games, and we were talking about representation in games. And since I had worked in the industry, I had insight, especially in working at EA and having friends at independent studios, and they'd come on the podcast and talk to us. I had a lot of connections like that. So I just broke it down. I said, African Americans don't vote with their dollars. I said, you don't get represented if you don't vote with your dollars. So I said, let me break this number down to you. Right now, if every black person that bought 2K, NBA 2K, or bought Madden said, I'm not going to buy 2021. Every black person decides, I'm not going to spend that money on Madden or NBA 2K. That company is going to lose millions that year. Their stock will plummet. You don't understand how much power you have as black people when it comes to video games. So when you're playing the game, if you're not represented, and I give you a perfect example, The Sims is $1 million base. People from every culture, black, white, every race, every religion plays The Sims. It's a very popular game.
Yeah.
Black hairstyles was a mod you had to go get from somebody else because it wasn't represented in the game.
How much make an afro?
I remember that.
Yeah, no,
I remember
black,
reading an
you
article
couldn't
about that.
get black women's hair in this game. There was
Yeah.
a black woman who had a mod that was so popular that the Sims company, the Sims developers brought her in to talk to her. What are we doing wrong? Because that was their biggest thing with Sims 4 is that they really how do we represent same-sex relationships? How do we do this? Need for Speed, when they were doing their newest Heat, that development team brought in people from Miami, Cubans, Puerto Ricans, blacks, whites, people in the racing culture. Hey, would he talk like this? Would he dress like this? How do we represent the culture right? What would be, signs on the car? Is it a gang thing? They were really trying to get it right and get this.
Yeah.
And the fact that they brought people in and worked that heavily to try to get people represented, I thought, hey, EA is really out here on the cutting edge. Now, they're not going to get a lot of credit for that, but they were out there on the cutting edge doing it. But
Because they drop Battlefront? I think that's why.
Oh, yeah. But I was there when we got the most downvoted post on Reddit. Oh my God. Here's my thing. I am all for Ask Me Anything. I am.
Yeah.
But to me, this person that they had selected for this one was ill prepared. At least get somebody that's internet savvy and knows what a Reddit Ask Me Anything is. Go in there ready and say, hey, even if you don't have an answer, hey, that's a great thing. I would like to bring it up. How about you contact me here and let's look into that. That's something I think we need to look into. That's a great answer if you don't know. Don't say something, because it's so much easier to say, I don't know, than it is to say, I'm going to put this out here, and now we got to retract that later.
Yeah, don't bullshit if you don't know.
But no one wants to look stupid. No one wants to be caught with the I don't know. That's the sad part about people is that we need to normalize not knowing something and saying, I need to go look into it instead of just, I know it.
I literally did that the other day. I was talking to somebody brought up something, and I was like, you know what? Let me go look that up so I can be more informed.
I love saying that. That is my favorite thing. Here's why. 7 kids. 7 kids. I got hit with questions like, I don't even know where you thought that. Hold on. Let's go look into that. Let's go look it up. But no, it's crazy, man. But in the video game industry, it was such a weird thing. Is I've told them, if you're not represented, nobody's forcing you to go buy Madden. Nobody's forcing you to go buy 2K or FIFA every year. You are going in there. Nobody held a gun on you and said, you're going to buy this copy or we're going to kill your mom. You willingly took the money that you worked for and went down there and bought that copy. That is on you. They owe you nothing.
I felt that, like I said, with the wrestling games and shit, I felt the same way. That's why I would skip you. If they would bring the previews up and I would see barely anything changed of substance, I'd be like, I'm not buying it this year. It's the same game.
I used to skip every year Madden, and I would buy NCAA. I bought the college game almost every year. In 2003, I had it on the GameCube where you could put yourself in the game as a coach, and then you could even customize the signs and the stain. I was a hardcore college guy, and I would take the worst school I ever knew. Back in the day, it was Northeast Louisiana University. It's now LSU, Monroe. I took that team, and I made them a national championship team.
I love doing that.
I would always do that stuff, man. And it was just like, I'm going to win, and I'm going to put all these big teams on my schedule, so I'm going to have to play number one eventually, and they think I'm going to be a knockoff game, but I'm going to defeat them, and I'm going to jump to number one. Like, I would purposely build schedules like that.
I used to do the same thing.
And I loved that game.
Super fun.
In Madden, it would just be like, oh, it's the Saints.
Patriots
I'm going to take my Saints, and I'm going to...
Yeah.
I know we're gonna lose here. I know I'm gonna have 3 losses this year.
Like the Patriots are the greatest team in America.
Yeah.
Like
really? It's like I said, it's just it's hard for me now to really sink into a game like a single player experience now. Just over the past a lot of it I think with all the kids now is part of it, but it's just hard for me. And I like I said, like Fallout, I love the Fallout games. I used to play those like constantly, like to the point where like I'd be driving and start like the sky would be gray that day. Like, man, this looks kind of like that one place I went walking to Fallout.
As of today, as of this morning, I have 458 hours in Animal Crossing, New Horizons.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
I bought it the day it came out, and then, the next week, GameStop shut down. We went into Corona. I have a 5-star island. I've created a second character and started building his 5-bedroom house on there.
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm totally maxed out into that game. That is my only time sync game. But, I also have a PC, and I started playing Final Fantasy 13 again. I think I dropped 113 hours in it because I was trying to 100% it on Steam.
Well, you commented on the monstrosity over here when you walked in.
Yeah, no, man, I'm a PC gamer guy.
Yeah.
So I have all the consoles, but when I came in, I used to have a setup just like that at work. Mm-hmm. That is what like when I walked in and looked at yours, that was what my work desktop looked like. Right now I have one that's lit up like a Christmas tree, and it's got a 2070 in it. Nice. And then my laptop is Alienware R17, and it's got a 1070 in it. So, when I looked in and I saw 2 1080s running in that slide, I was like, oh, I like that. Well, and he's water cooled that CPU. I was already checking you out.
Well, I have some buddies from the Army that are far more tech savvy than me. I was an IT guy. I know how to do a little bit with command prompts and shit like that, but these guys were way more thorough. Like they have like the CISPR, whatever it is, like the fucking big like top security shit. They have all that like 6-figure jobs and shit. But they helped me set this up because initially we were all mining crypto. So I was like in Ethereum and a bunch of shit, and I eventually I stopped using it for that and just moved straight over to investing, and then I dumped all of my stock for equipment for the studio and the other stuff I was doing, and then of course the price doubled right after. But anyway,
no, I'm looking at your rig and I was like, that is a nice rig. What are you now? There was one thing I couldn't tell because when I first looked at it, I couldn't tell if you were running 16 gigs of RAM or if you were trying to run 32, because I was like, is there 4 cards in there or is there only 2?
It's a Threadripper. I think it has was it 6? I think it's 32.
I was trying to determine because I didn't see lights in the back. Like I have my G-Skill RAM, so it's got the RGB stupid light on it. But that's how I was looking at yours and I was going, I can't tell if that's 32 gigs or if he's running 16. But like I'm a tech nerd. Like that's one of the things people don't like. I look at PCs and you look at a hot chick and you be like, she wants me to choke her. I'm looking at a PC going, what's her PC like? What's her Steam account look like?
let me run Crisis on here and choke her.
Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna choke her at this choke point when she tries to respawn. That's where I'm gonna catch the choke on her.
No, but all I've ran on it is when I first bought it. Like I said, I was mining with it. I ran like Fallout 76 on it when it first came out.
Yeah.
And I ran Warzone on it. Warzone looked fucking crazy good on there.
Yes.
Like the draw distance, like all the details of every building and everything on the ground I could see from all the way in the air. Like when I was first parachuting out, like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, like, I ran the Division 2, and on Ultra, I could get it up to about 68 frames a second. Mm-hmm. And then I broke Fallout 4 on my new system because it kept running unchecked. So it would go sometimes, like if I was jumping off a building in armor, I had a mod on that wouldn't let me get damage. Yeah. And so it would start speeding up to like 140, 160 frames a second. The game crashes. So I had to go download a mod to lock that game into never go over 90. You stop at 90. You stop there. Don't go up to 140.
They have the one armor you can get where you can jump off of stuff.
Oh yeah, I was
And
ripping this
you have
game,
to-
man.
And the funny thing about that is the developers hit it in there in such a way you kind of have to glitch to get up to it. You have to be holding something and you back into this wall and like you float up this fucking wall, and then you get into this one little like pocket. It's I think it's part of when you're doing the stuff with the institution, like around then.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like the one legs you can get for the body armor or whatever. You can just drop off of stuff and you don't die.
Here's the thing that kills
What,
me about
76?
Bethesda. I hate them.
4.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I hate Bethesda for that reason. They make the most broken piece of shit games.
Oh God.
And then they
yeah.
expect their fan base to fix their games.
They do.
And then if any other company, if Activision did that or if EA did that, people would flame them. Bethesda kept getting a pass
Yeah.
until 76, and
Yeah.
that whole fiasco at 76. And I was just like,
Most of
I
the
hate
resources
seeing
in it
bad-
were reused from 4.
Yeah, I hate seeing bad things happen to people, but I was so happy when that happened to Bethesda. I wanted a reckoning with their fans because Fallout fans were in an abusive relationship.
Oh
Yeah.
God, yes.
We are in an abusive relationship with them. They just
It
keep
sucks
giving us the same
because
shit
I
and keep hoping
love
them to
I
change.
love the lore, I love the world, and
Everything
they,
about
Easy to
it.
get
and
to the
they
game where you
just
don't have
fuck
to
it
work.
up.
You don't have to work in the game. Like I played on single player. No, I had a few mods, but they were all like cosmetic. Like I want to wear the fucking veteran armor.
Yeah.
Kind of shit. But I got to the point where like because I started to use a lot of melee shit. Just because after a while you run out of bullets. It's a game where you don't have a lot of bullets. You start throwing swords and swinging and shit. It got to the point where like by the time I finished the shit with I forget the family that the father, the patriarch was immortal or whatever.
Yeah.
By the time I finished that, I no longer take any radiation damage. I
Yeah.
no longer take fall damage. I no longer like you can shoot me, bullets bounce off me, and I'm just like I don't have to use a weapon. I can punch people to death. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not even finished with the game yet. I'm not even 50%. I can now tank through. I can leave all my weapons at the
That's-
house.
There is a
I-
One Punch Man mod. Like I'm a
Yeah.
huge
I didn't
anime
even
fan,
get to
so,
that.
so I did the One Punch Man mod, and I started punching everything
need
in
to
Fallout
go- I did
4
it
on my
to
second
Deathclaw.
play.
I need to go back and finish that. It was so good. I watched like 3 episodes of it, and it was so good. Like I was like,
Oh my
how?
God,
I,
yeah.
It
I
is.
remember watching it, and be like, how have I not seen this before? It's so fucking good.
It is.
And then like life got
No,
distracted.
Finish season
you know.
1 is so worth
Yeah.
your
It's
It's
time.
like Dragon Ball Z, but like if Goku wasn't so focused on having a long fight, but just realized, oh yeah, this guy's too
I
weak
think
to
it's
fight me.
it's way funnier than Dragon Ball Z.
You know what my
Yeah.
favorite anime is right now, though? Like, I hate to say this to people, but so first of all, I love One Piece, and I've watched all 938 episodes. I did it
That
in
is
10
a lot of
months.
Oh,
episodes.
I got caught up in
done?
10 months. But here's the thing. My favorite anime right now is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh, God.
A lot of
Because
people
it's
like
so over the top. And
Yeah.
it's so, like, the way we're over here, we're like Japan files,
Yeah.
and we're all like weeps for Japanese stuff. The guy that created JoJo's is a Westernophile. So he's all big about like Western music and Western culture, and he's all into that stuff. And that's why you have characters named Ario Speedwagon, and that's why Yes was the closing song on season 1, and why the when they were in Egypt, the Bangles were the closing song with Walk Like an Egyptian for the whole Egyptian arc. He is a huge Westernophile, and that's why he wrote this outlandish, crazy, over the top anime.
Yeah.
And when you like, I watched it, and then like by the 3rd episode, I was like, this is the most fun I've ever had sitting here watching something. So now my buddies are starting to, they're watching it now. And then they're like, why did you never tell me about this? Oh, I begged you to watch it. And you thought it was stupid. And now that you're bored, you finally turned it
Yeah.
on Netflix. And now you're mad
Oh,
at
is
me.
it on Netflix?
Yeah,
I
you
might
can
check it
actually
out.
go
Okay.
watch it on Netflix. And the dub is amazing.
There's a joke about
I am
anime.
a huge dub fan. It's amazing.
My animes, like I said, Death Note is 100% my favorite. I
Such a good
fucking
one.
loved Death Note.
Such a good one.
Have you ever seen Desert Punk?
No.
No, I've never sat down and watched the whole
Oh,
thing.
it's so good.
I will tell you one if you guys
It's
get a
pretty
chance.
much the character's pretty much like Deadpool. It's just really good.
I need to watch that.
Sergeant Frog's pretty funny.
I've watched that.
Yeah, you can
That
sit
was
down and
hilarious.
That's pretty fucking funny.
Watch Death Parade. If you guys want to watch a show that's going to mess you up, Death Parade.
Death Parade.
Bro,
So what it
Dead
is
Man's
it's the afterlife. You meet a bartender in the afterlife. Okay, this is part of the Death Parade. So let's say you and I are in a car wreck. Okay, we both died in that car wreck. We're gonna play a game. We may play darts. We may play air hockey. One of us is gonna go into reincarnation. One of us is going into the pit to never be reborn again.
Oh, fuck.
And the Death Parade is these stories. Every week is different 2 people show up. So one episode, it was a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, and wife, basically. One of them's going to not come back. One of them's going to be reborn. So okay, there's some They're playing for stakes are high. The stakes are high in this game. What is going on? Then you start learning about through the episode. Do they deserve to be reborn? Were they a good person? And it starts talking all the stuff about life and what we did with life and was life even worth it? Did we have a good life? Did we have a hard life? Do I need a second shot? So every episode was like this, and it was 12 episodes, and it did so much in that 12 episodes. Man, it messed me up. So my second to the youngest daughter, Kiara, watched it with me. Not an anime fan. Not an anime fan when we start this. She's like, hey, I need to sign into your Funimation account. But then she got mad because I changed the password and somebody else broke it. So she got her own Funimation account and started watching more anime. And I was like, I've converted another one.
It's kind of like a Comic Hill or a fucking, or like Dead Man Wonderland with that whole idea of like, characters are dying around you constantly, but you're all just like, what did they go through that got them here? Was it worth it?
Gantz will ruin you. Oof. If you guys have never read Gantz or watched Gantz, Gantz has this thing where you basically died. You're reborn as these kind of like cybernetic assassins that take on these crazy monsters. And the monsters, if you die in this afterlife, you're dead for good. But if you are the cybernetic assassin, like this one guy, it was him and his little brother. They were in an abusive relationship. They were living with their aunt. She was abusive to both of them. He gets them out of that house. He gets them their own place. He's trying to graduate his senior year of high school. So if he dies, nobody's going to be there to take care of his brother. He's basically, you got a second chance, but you're going to play this game for us. And so he has something to lose, where everybody in Gantz has something to lose that they're trying to protect and to keep, these monsters from getting. Yeah. It's just a brutal, graphic, horrifying manga, and then they took the manga and made it an anime. I would suggest reading the manga over the anime. But he also wrote a show called Inuyashiki that's available on Amazon, and that is a scene-for-scene rip of the manga. The anime was like scene for scene. They were taking whole chunks of scene out of the manga and animating it. They did not change anything. What happens in that anime happened in the manga. Phenomenal. But yeah, don't go down this road with me. I'll change this whole show again into a weed fest.
No, but you know what? That was the hilarious thing I was sitting over here thinking about. We had our talk at the game day. I was like, it's like, oh great, we're gonna do the Popcorn Trick podcast. It's gonna be awesome. Like we're both, I'll get to use some of my nerdy side and have a fellow nerd. And like I said, change systems over, upgraded and whatnot. So I was like, okay, we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna do a talk show. So let's find a third chair. Find somebody else that like reads anime. Reads mangas and watches animes or in the comics or something. And so Will, offered to do the show.
Will shows up.
And it's like, all right, let's do the show. So we spend, instead of talking about any of that, we spend like the whole first hour talking about life and politics and reality. And take the fucking deepest dive imaginable. And then we're like, all right, let's talk about Madden.
That's what anime takes you to. Like, all that shit's connected. Life.
It really is, man.
Like,
it really is.
Like, all those games, all the shows that we watch, they either are an allegory for life or they kind of just are a reminder of why we want to escape anyway. Like, it's either we're escaping life or we're trying to really put life on display in something. It's an art form.
Yeah.
When I hype this show up to my friends, I'm going to say, get past the first 30 minutes where I'm talking about booty holes. And it gets so good. Booty hole? Who's your mama? It gets so good. At the hour mark, you're going to be like, these dudes got too deep for me. I got to pause.
Oh, dude, I feel, what? I feel like that's going to happen. There's going to be people that are going to be like, oh, great. Like, this is a podcast I can, really sink in with. Because we're going to be talking about stuff that I understand. Like, wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, wait.
Plot twist.
He said something about Nancy Pelosi. Hold on.
Yeah, Who brought up pizza?
Plot twist. They switched to politics in the middle.
For some reason, Eric got all bashful and started talking about fucking some chick in the ass. So here we are.
I swear this conversation has been one of my favorites right there this year.
It's been pretty good.
Yeah, it took me, it's like, we started way over here. I don't even know how we got to here.
We went from left field, right field, center field, backfield.
Yeah,
literally backfield.
Yeah, we talked about them backfields. There was some in play. I do remember that.
We slid into home plate, I tell you.
It was just such a weird journey, but I loved this conversation. This is the one thing I miss about going to comedy clubs and hanging out with other comedians, is that this is what happens. 90% of your conversations with comedians is not about comedy at all.
Yeah.
We rarely talk to each other about comedy. When you're hanging out with other comedians, or if you're friends with other comedians, a lot of times you are talking about the weird shit that we just talked about tonight.
Yeah.
And that'll be the conversation will do what we just did. We recorded what happens when comedians talk.
And if some normie walked up in the middle of one of those conversations, you'd be like, what the are you just, how are you talking about rape so casually? Hold on. You heard like the last 20 seconds.
Yes, listen to
the
this.
very first episode of the pilot, we just shot with phones. It was rough. Me and my buddy Bryce, my buddy Neil, we just talked about random shit, from being in the military, and just personal stories that were funny. And I came to the conclusion, I was like, Neil, you need to start just writing some of the shit down because you're actually hilarious. So you can do stand up. And he said he wants to do stand up under Pat No Productions brand. So stay tuned for that. All right. So I'm gonna be putting people out under me. So watch. All right. So watch me work. All right. So anyway, so I got that going, and the rest of it's been stand up comics. But soon enough, I'm gonna start bringing in videographers, just different actors, whatever. I'm gonna start bringing everybody in. Specifically for this show, the popcorn trick is going to stay comedians.
I want the thing when you shoot your first role, or you say, "Hey, I'm gonna shoot a small role or movie," I want to roll in it. I'm just letting you know now.
Well, I have something I'm working on. We'll talk after this.
No, I'm telling you now. I'm just putting myself out there. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a small role where I'm just like the old wise black guy in the bar that's the bartender.
Yeah.
I will.
Well, you are the old wise black guy, so
yeah, I'm gonna do that role. It's like, man, he seemed made for that. Yeah, I'm living it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, actually, I have something that I'm working on. I don't want to say too much.
Yeah, no.
It's an idea I've had for a while, and so today, I sat down and I started fleshing it out, and I was like, oh wait, this is gonna be really funny. So
I've already told you. I know because you and I talked before the show, and I was just like, I want to work with this guy on something else. I know we're gonna, because I told you I'd come back and do popcorn trick, and you've already
And I like what we got going here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to come out and do your thing at some point. Yeah,
Bro,
Or
you gotta.
the Comic-Con thing too. Everything.
Oh,
man.
bro, you gotta.
We have established something here tonight between politics and buttholes. We've established something.
I will tell you what. Next time we get a con, I will bring you on. Like I've always wanted to do a podcast live, and so we've never done.
Oh, that would be fun.
We've never done our podcast live with our guests there, and I've had some fun guests at the cons, but it would be nice to bring a comic on and then to shoot it live. But I was talking to.
I'm about to have 2 cameras, by the way. I'm getting another one in October. So,
So okay, so on
so
Twitch,
see, like I'm doing my phone now.
Yeah.
It's gonna be everything's gonna be.
well, I do a Twitch cast with well, it's so weird to say this, man, but me and a buddy of mine, we do a show called the Weeber Brothers. All right, the Weeber Brothers, and the Weeber Bros is what we call it. But we have been talking about, hey, we're going to go to a con and we're going to shoot live. You would be a hell of a guest there. You should just come out. Next one I do, I'm going to have you come out and kick it with me.
I'm honored. I would love to.
No, come kick it with me because, man, I'm telling you something, man. Anime conventions it is a different vibe. I never thought a comedy at anime conventions was going to be a thing I was going to do. And I didn't go into it with the intent of doing comedy. I went with the podcast and being press and interviewing people. Then it became, hey, I'm doing these panels. But my panels that I was doing, like breaking down anime and, hey, here are the best rom-coms of 2019. Here was my top 20 pick of 2019. We were doing those kind of shows. And those panels had so much stand-up comedy in them because you gave me a mic and a crowd. I'm going to be funny, and I can't resist making jokes.
Let me pitch this to you.
Yeah.
If at some point an opportunity arises,
Yes.
we do like a live podcast panel thing, but as like a watch party. We watch something up on a screen. There's a crowd there, and we're just doing live commentary.
Yes.
That would be fire.
Bro, let me tell you something. Remember I told you guys at IkiCon last year, which is one of our big ones in Austin. We did a Welcome to the Trash Heap. That's my baby. It's kind of become my brand. Welcome to the Trash Heap means I'm going to go out and find so bad it's good anime.
Yeah.
The worst of the worst. I'm going to go find it.
Oh, that's right up my alley.
I'm going to watch it. And
That's
I'm
right
gonna
up my alley.
Well, nobody had thought about what's the worst of the worst in hentai. And I was like, I'm going to go find it. And I found the worst of the worst. So I get there to this room, and it's packed. And you guys saw that big room I showed you the pictures of. Easy. 356, 400 people in this room. And I tell them at the start of the room, I say, I was going to just show you title cards and tell you the names and try to show you a clip. Okay? And then I thought, that's cool. We can have a good time doing that and showing you the clips. But I don't think that's going to damage your psyche as much as what I decided to do. we're going to watch this together in this room.
Jesus Christ.
And I was playing
That's so
like
awkward.
10-minute episodes of hentai, and I would break down why it was bad. But while it's playing, I'm giving you play-by-play about who animated her leg? Why is it out 45 degrees to the side?
Like how stomach's bulging
is,
out like
is
that?
her
You like
hip
that?
disjointed? What happened? And so I found the worst of the worst, and we watched.
I have the feeling this
Porn with
artist has never seen a vagina. No,
no, never.
that
How
looks
does
like a
her-
foot. No.
Oh, there was this one.
Some people like fucking feet. Again, shout
Yeah,
out to
the foot
Chappelle.
showed back
Yeah.
up. But yeah, dude, it was just such a weird thing, and I played it, and it was infamous. Like, the next day, everybody knew about Welcome to the Trash Heap Hentai Edition. Infamous.
That's funny.
And it just kind of spread that word that there's a guy named Coach, and if he has a Welcome to the Trash Heap panel, go. But then the next night, I go with my buddy, and he does a show called H or Not H, and that means hentai or not hentai. And what you'll see is a picture, and it's just the eyes. And we bring people up to play this game show, and you just get to see the eyes, and then you have to tell us, is that going to be hentai or not hentai? And they were winning actual prizes. Like he had,
You gotta look
great
for the
gifts.
squinty eyes and the eyebrows are tipped. Like
Oh
this.
my! Let me
It's
tell
like-
you.
When the eyes are like splayed out, they're like, oh
Yeah.
no, that's how he go. I know what that shit is.
So we had 2 hentai artists that played at 2 different events, and they killed that game.
That is fucking
They were
hilarious.
killing it. But then other people would be in there and say, "No, I'm thinking it's not going to be hentai." But he would have pictures hidden in there, like, "Why is Misty getting gangbanged like that?" Like there would be something hidden so disturbing that would just shatter everybody in the rooms. Like, yeah, that's my boy is Zane, the one I showed you the picture of, Zane Lopez. They call him the Handlebar Senpai, and he
Yeah.
runs the Otaku Lounge Club on Facebook. If you guys get a chance to go to a con, and Zane and I are at that same con, it's going to be a Welcome to the Trash Heap, and the next night there's going to be a H or Not H, and you attend both of those. They are the most demented time you will have with strangers in a room.
That's so
But
funny.
and it's just like we just took our brand of humor. Like me as a comedian, I actually got to the point where I was like, "Hey, people knew I was a comedian, and they were like, would you like to do a set here?" What? Yeah. Would you like to come in and like, you can either do a 30-minute, 40-minute set. We'll give you a room, and your panel is your stand-up comedy. And so that's how I started getting booked. Was like I'm a panelist, but I'm also a stand-up comedian. So initially, what we were supposed to do at the end of the year, if we were going to go to IkiCon, and I was going to shoot my first stand-up special. I had never videotaped my special, and I was going to shop it to networks. And so I met with the videographer that did my brother's documentary for his band, and I told him what I wanted to do, and I wanted to shoot it at a con. Then we went to the con, and we pitched it to them, and the con was like, it was so weird. I pitched it to the con before I committed to the videographer. But the con was so on board with it. They're like, yes, because they just watched these panels and what had happened. And so they were like, yeah. And so I went to him and I told him, here's what happened. And he was on board. Like, he's like, we're doing this. And then COVID happened this year. And I was like,
Oh fuck.
well, okay. Maybe in 2021.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, come out, man. We'll kick it at one of these cons. I'll make sure it's one that's in town so you don't have to do, I got to get a sitter. Because the daytime is great. You can bring your kids in the daytime. It's the crap that happens after 8 o'clock at night. That's where it goes horribly wrong.
Well, here's my thing. If I have like an event to go to, my mom lives like a few blocks away.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so that's how I'm able to go to Mike's on Wednesday usually.
Yeah.
Or I'm running the live event now, like the one we talked about, the improv roasting.
Yes.
First event I ever produced, ended up being a fucking smash.
I
Shout out
nailed
to
it.
Junebug, awesome host. You brought life to that for sure.
Bro, Junebug had me hyped to go see this. I'm coming down to see it.
Yeah, he's
I fucks with Junebug heavy.
got a lot of energy, man.
Dude, he does. People don't get that. Man, Junebug drops a lot of truth in his sets.
He does.
He talks about some hard topics, but man, that fool makes that shit funny.
Yep.
Like, first time I watched it, man, he was telling that joke about, bitch ass homeboys, and I was like, bro, this is the most gangsta ass stand up comedy set I've ever heard. And I'm in like cloud 9 listening to this set because I was like, I'm relating to I'm not a thug, but I'm relating to what he is dropping.
Him and, I was going to bed last night because I was just bored and I was tired. Him and Dwayne hit me up out of nowhere. They came over here. So we were over here drinking fucking Cavassier and shit, fucking just chilling.
Junebug's all
freestyling.
right with me, man. He's a good dude, man.
Yeah, he's good people. Good people.
Can't have the name Junebug and not be cool.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, Junebug's a wild dude, bro. If you get a chance to see him do comedy, and I tell him, come up to Harker Heights when they do, what is it, Wednesday nights when they do that open mic?
Wednesday night, Cup of Joe's about 7:30 typically. Yeah.
Oh, it's Wednesday now?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we did. Actually, excuse me. Let me stop right there. Junebug started a Wednesday night mic at Cup of Joe.
Okay, now that's the early one.
Right. The other one is usually on Saturday. Jason Ball runs that one.
Okay.
Junebug came to me and said, hey, I want to do this event. What do you think? So I sat down with him. You know, we talked. I came up with some games. He came up with, you know, he tossed a couple in. And I was like, all right, so cool. We got this. Let me take it home. So I went home. I made it into actual structure of how the event would flow.
Mm-hmm.
I shot it over to him. He went in there and he fucking destroyed it, like in a good way.
That's awesome.
Fucking pounded it. And I was like, you know what? I was able to take my experiences doing improv over in Waco with the Brazos Theater and shit,
Mm-hmm.
and with roasting and all this other stuff. And I was able to, you know, go with you with your experience with stand-up, because you've been doing it longer than I have, and just slap it into this monstrosity, this Frankenstein, and it's awesome.
Bro, I was so hyped when you told me about it. I told him I don't want to compete. I feel like I would suck in the competition part. I want to come out and just watch it and cheer on. But I really want to come see
Can you
this.
not riff?
I can. But that's the problem. Like, I hate...
It's all riffing.
Well, you know what? I told you the story about my knee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, we know I can make a joke up in the moment.
Wait. While we have just a few minutes left on the clock, would you share that story? Because it was really funny.
Okay, well, you're about to hear the most messed up story of your life. So, it's my left knee. And I have what they call a subluxation at one point, which is where your kneecap goes to the left, with your legs over here to the right. Okay. So, it happened when I was in the military. It was an injury I had from the military. Military said, hey, it hadn't happened again, but it's in your medical record. But it happened in the military. So I was like, okay, cool. May never happen again, may happen again later in life. I'm in my 30s. I'm playing the Amarillo Comedy Club one weekend. I'm happy. They're going to pay me. This is my first time, like, I'm getting really paid from the Amarillo Comedy Club to do comedy. That was my home club. I'm a feature. They're going to give me a check. I'm on stage. I'm doing my set. And you walk up 3 steps to get on the stage at the time. And as I'm doing my set, I'm looking at this side of the audience. And I pivot like this. Just a simple pivot. I pivoted to look at this side of the audience. And when I did, my kneecap went pop. Now, my leg's over here. My kneecap's to the left of it. On stage, I have on, like, cargo pants. I still have the pants that it happened in. I've never got rid of these pants. The knee went over. So I felt it, and I said, oh, God, my knee popped. So I went pop like this, straighten out my leg, and popped the knee back in place. While on stage, in my joke. I never break the joke. I never stopped telling the joke. But when I popped it back in, the pain was so intense. It was like the most painful thing. I would say, something tore when it popped that time, when it popped back in place. I know something's messed up. Then my leg starts doing this move. Like, it's not stabilizing my weight anymore. So I'm like, I'm about to fall. Like, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, I'm about to fall. I'm about to close this set out. I haven't done my closer yet. I'm about to fall. I can't just fall up on stage. So I looked at the audience and I said, hey, you ever been so drunk you got in a fight with gravity and lost? And I fell to the ground like I was that drunk. And I would turn my back away from the audience. And I was like, and then I turned back, get off of me, gravity. Get off of me. I ain't your punk. You might have done that to Newton, but you ain't doing that to me. I ain't no punk. I ain't Newton. And then I turned around and I just hammed it up on the floor. Like, I stayed down there for at least a good 3-4 minutes, hamming it up, just talking noise. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, I feel like I can stand up again. So I got up, got off stage, got backstage to the green room, and it was the size of a grapefruit. So he didn't even write me a check. I told Eric, he gave me cash. Here's your money. Get out. 2 guys helped me get to the car while the headliner's up doing the show. 2 guys get me in the car. By the time we get to my car, we have to pick my leg up and put it in the car like this and just stabilize it like that. Seat all the way back, and I just stabilize it, and I said, okay, I can drive like this. I get home. I tell my brother-in-law, and my nephew was living with me at the time, come out to the car, get me out. They come out to the car. They got me out of the car, get me into the house. I'm having to ice it down. I'm trying to wrap it. It can't bend at times. And I'm like, something's messed up in there. It can't bend. It'll catch. It won't bend. And they're like, what happened? I don't know. And I told them. Next day we go to the VA. I tell them what happened. The VA rushes me across the street to a hospital. They got me. They're imaging it. They're like, we're about to do everything. We're about to do X-rays. We're about to do everything. We got to figure out what's going on in there. I tore my lateral meniscus in half. The thing that your kneecap does in that bend, that cushion there, yeah, I tore that in half. Partial tear to the ACL. I fucked my whole knee up. Okay, and the VA. What were you doing? Stand-up comedy. Are you a physical comedian? I was last night. Okay. Yeah. I was last night. And I told the story, and they go, how did you not just scream like a little bit? I said, I have 7 kids. I gave up screaming in passion years ago. I just finished the set, and I got out. So when I'm there, I'm telling jokes the whole time we're at the hospital. And they're just like, then they showed me the picture, and I'm looking at the lateral meniscus, and it's really disconnected. And the reason my leg will catch sometimes is because that piece will move out, and then I can't bend the leg. And then I have to wait for it to fall back in place, and then the leg will bend. And so they had to put me braced up. I'm going to have surgery, repair everything. And I remember just like the VA asked when was the first time it happened. And I said, I was in the military. I was on board the USS Tripoli. It would have been around this year. It was in my records. I paid 50 cents for that surgery. That 50 cents I paid was to get a Coke after they had done surgery. And I was like in the hospital room, and I told my buddy, hey, go get me a Coke. Here's $1. And he went down there and got us both Cokes. That was the only money I paid out of pocket. The military paid for that full surgery. Yeah. So one time the VA hospital, Thomas E. Creek, Amarillo, greatest military hospital ever. I'll say that right now. I never had any of the issues that you hear vets talk about at that hospital. They were amazing. But what happened now is, I'm 49, 20 years later, his knee, it's getting worse. Yeah. And now I'm having to do the interview for like disability. And it's a weird flex, but man, when I tell this story, they were like, well, what happened the first time? And I told them, and then they said, well, when did you get the surgery? And I tell this story. And every time I'm telling it, somebody said, hold on. He'll call somebody, come down here and listen to this story. like I'm at the VA hospital telling this story over and over. Hey, y'all gotta come hear this story. Tell them the knee story. I'm like, am I the knee guy? Is that my reputation down at the VA hospital? Y'all met knee guy? That dude's hilarious. He's got to do that knee bit. It's not a knee bit, bro. It really happened.
You're Jon Snow now. You don't bend the knee anymore.
Yeah. She'd have burned me. You
hear that one? That's a real knee slapper right there.
Yeah. Hit the other knee. Yeah, no, but yeah, it really happened that way. And I was like, I told everybody, they always say, all comedy comes from pain. No, I don't want any more pain. That's right, your whole thing. What if we could live 1,000 years? This knee won't make it. I'm out.
I'm good.
I want to clock out quickly.
Just kick ass with the time you have.
Yeah, no.
And I think that we have kicked ass tonight with the time we had.
I think so. I had a blast, man.
This is probably my favorite episode at this point. Aww. This was a lot of fun. You guys were great.
Yeah, Will, you blew me away, bro. I met Will before, but man, when he walked in and I said, I do know that guy. Yeah. Will says some wild stuff, man. I'm like, I don't know if Will and I can coexist at the same anime convention. Will's going to be running off with Asian chicks that are hot doing the nasty, and I'm going to be over there trying to talk about.
He's just looking for Misty with the big titties.
I just want to tell some anime jokes. Will's off with hot chicks.
Hey, man. Akon is where I fucking hunt, baby.
I've been Akon. I'm surprised we've never run into each other at a con.
Man, I come in there like guts, nigga. I'm trying to get this money. Trying to run up in there with this big sword. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. After everything I've heard, I'm definitely going to go to a con.
You got to come.
I've wanted to go. I'm not going to go.
Like, hey, baby, want to be my Pokemon? Come on and do this battle.
Yeah. I got to get both of you out there, man. We would have so much fun on the show. We would do this.
I think we would.
I'm going to actually put something together for us.
They're my favorite people. Anime people are my favorite people because they don't judge you for anything.
Nothing.
Because they're into some heinous shit. You can come up to an anime person with like all your troubles. You could have been a criminal. You could have been racist. And they'll be like, hey, I used to like tentacle porn. We're cool.
Yeah. We all got our issues and our crosses to bear.
Oh. Yeah, we've all got our things.
In my case, there's literally an anime where a guy's carrying a cross. So we're cool.
I'm done.
Like, I'm Jesus and I fuck. That's what I do.
I'm out. I tapped out.
Yeah.
He went there. He went there.
This is my cross the bear. You got the bad baby.
Yeah, I'm never going to get to be on the show with Will again. This is the proof right here. I'm going to enjoy this one. I'm going to say, yeah, one time somebody did that. Eric never did that again. Eric never booked us again.
No, like most of the shows I've done, we've mainly just talked about comedy. Mainly. Some of it we talked a little bit about politics stuff when I had Hudak on. He was a great guest. Him and Craig
Love me some
Fergola.
Hudak.
Fergola was great too. But yeah, way more in-depth conversation. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, I just want to give a huge thank you to Will Williams for being here tonight.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me over.
You were perfect as the third chair. You answered the call and you executed by all means.
Killed it, man.
It's the right amount of third wheel. The right amount.
You killed, dude. You took us you actually took control of the steering wheel at one point. I was like, he's not Jesus, but he's got the wheel. We're see where this goes.
Whenever everybody leaves, I'm just going to be Googling Misty with big titties now. So.
Man, that's how life is, man.
And
Misty with the big titties keeps you going.
You go down the rabbit hole and you find tentacles. But anyway, also, huge thank you to Roderick McDaniel for making the drive.
Thank you, man.
As well from Austin, and for providing a lot of insight into the video game industry and all this other stuff.
It's crazy.
Been an amazing guest.
Man, thank you.
And you're a good dad.
Hey, now
You're a
I
good
still
dad.
hear that. My daughter's, I
Good
stay in
dad.
touch with them. But it's so good to see my grandkids are now all like turning into nerds and geeks. Like they're all comic book fans, Marvel fans, and Star Wars. It means I raised my kids right. They're
think
passing
so.
it to the next
It
generation.
really sounds like you did.
I hope I did. 'Cause none of them are in therapy yet. So I must have did something
Yeah.
right.
I mean, you seem like a good dad, but I feel like a better dad would also make sure that everything's given to kids and get the piece of chicken they actually want. Because we're not selling you niggas like, nah, you can't get the
it's
breast this
70.
year.
You know how many we would have to buy?
You can get the breast next year. You can get the chicken breast next year.
I feel like we got our own Uncle Phil just for a little while. You know?
That was it.
Just for a little while.
was
So wholesome. So wholesome between the buttholes and whatnot.
Yeah.
But anyway,
It's like that Uncle Phil's all right, but he does have that butthole thing.
Well,
I don't
he
know
was
about.
gay in real life, so he really did like butthole.
I quit.
that's why he played the shredder.
Oh,
Shredding that ass.
I get no. Uncle
And-
Phil, no.
And we're
He was
gonna,
Uncle Phil, or he was filling them in. You know what I'm saying?
and we're gonna shred on out of here, folks. It's been a blast. Again, thank you both. This is Everybody Hates Eric, and I, of course, am that asshole Eric. I'll see you guys next time.
That was so much
That
fun.
was awesome, guys.
That last part, boy, when you killed me, I was like, not Uncle Phil, no.
Uncle Phil.